Why are you the way you are? Why do you do the things that you choose to be?
I was laughing my ass off at our fanboy commentary for Batman and Robin when they were in Mr. Freeze's like paradise, and you're like, dude, it's snowing inside. And then they were standing next to a pool, and the pool wasn't frozen. And I went on a fucking rant. And I was like, why is it snowing inside? Why isn't this pool frozen? Why did they make this movie? Because it was so bad.
That is one of the worst things I've ever witnessed in any format of medium or anything.
Hello there.
I want to watch it again.
It's bad. I will stand by that Batman Forever is by far the worst one.
I agree.
Good day, Galaxy Rogue Squadron podcast. Thank you guys for tuning into our podcast. I am Mopar.
I'm Commander Cody. And now...
I'm here.
And... What are you going to call yourself?
I thought you called me a name.
No.
Okay, then let's call me Bug.
I don't like it.
Okay.
Jamboree.
Jamboree.
We got Jamboree with us.
Jamboree for the first time on... Is this your first podcast ever?
Yeah, well, certainly not listening to it, but yeah.
But for being on the show, this is your first one ever. Wow, very cool. Ben's, what are we going to call him?
Jammy.
Jamawammy is in town. He works with me on some of the production stuff that we do for our podcast company, and the whole team's been in town, and we were like, yo, you like beer and Star Wars? And like, we're going to talk about it now.
Repping the PlayStation hat.
Yeah, that's a sweet hat.
Dark side over here.
I like to have a lot. One of my best gifts I've received.
Yeah. I've admittedly never owned a PlayStation in my life.
You know what? I didn't own a PlayStation 1, but I still like this hat.
Yeah, well, fair enough.
That's the OG symbol, yeah.
Well, I guess I did because I had that PSP.
Oh, yeah, that totally counts, yeah.
Yeah. But that's the only PlayStation console that I've ever owned.
I've said it. I'll say it. I keep saying it. I'll get a PS4 at some point when it comes time to play, like, I don't know, Spider-Man and Red Dead and stuff like that.
You missed a great opportunity to get them for about $200 over the holidays.
I'll wait till next holiday, probably.
They'll be free.
I'll wait till the PS5 comes out.
Yeah.
You'll be way too far behind. All right, guys, we got a lot of news. I want to get through this list here. I can't read what's in front of me.
My hand's not involved. You being able to read or not.
No, the mic stand was right in front of me.
Before you get into are you going to tease it or are you going to get into it?
Yeah, I was going to tease it here.
All right, tease it, please.
We have new evidence suggests the Mandalorian footage will be shown at Celebration. That's, I mean, not news, but we can get into a little bit about that.
I would also expect
something. Gotta give us something.
Yeah.
To travel all the way to Chicago and try to have fun in the snow?
Jesus, who wants to go to Chicago? It'll be April. It's not snowing.
It's in the Midwest. It could easily snow in April.
There's no snowing. Richard Grant in episode 9 hints that he is playing a familiar character.
Familiar in what way?
Like a character that we already know and not a brand new character.
Yeah.
So we'll get into that.
We got some other stuff ahead of us. We're also going to get into Guess the Scene here. We got our beers right in front of us. I'm excited. We've got fucking lead singer from Bare Naked Ladies on it. I don't know who this is. Is this Moby?
Yeah, I was thinking it looked like Moby trying to hide his head.
This is the hipster monk.
Monk.
From Seventh Son. Oh, very nice. You're closer. It is called, what's it called? Brother John. It's a Belgian blonde ale, limited release from Seventh Son up the street. 6.3% alcohol.
Oh, I want to give a shout out. Artwork by Meek. I always like if they're gonna put it on there, I like giving a shout out.
Yeah,
I did notice that they've been putting their artists.
I got this one largely because it looked pretty.
Yeah, I do like that. As much as I like getting on draft, I want to know like the type of beer and everything. But if I'm getting cans, I really like to go off of the branding and the art and stuff when I can.
It's just like,
surprise myself.
And this might surprise you.
I'm surprised.
I drank wine like willingly.
I had wine too.
I'm not a huge fan of wine, but I was like all beered out, so I was like, okay, let me just roll the dice and grab a bottle. And we went to like a Kroger marketplace where they have like, I mean, shelves and aisles and aisles of this shit. So I don't know what the fuck I'm looking at. So that's exactly what I did. I was like browsing by just the labels. I have no clue.
Yeah.
It could be the shittiest label, but the best beer. But you've done fucked up because it's not shiny enough, and I didn't like it. So there was one that was like Game of Thrones style. I was like, fuck, I might want to just do that. But I ended
like actual Game of Thrones wine, or just looked like
it. Yeah, it was just kind of in their style. But
you were like, this one has a bare foot.
I chose one with a bunch of horses on it, and it was delicious. So I rolled it. I think it was called 14 Horses was the wine. But yeah, it was good. It was good. something different. I just the carbonation sometimes it just builds up and you get all beered out. So
I had some wine. Not afraid to admit it.
I think I had one 2 days ago. Whenever our friends bought a very large liter of wine, 2 liters of wine.
liter of wine. That reminds me of a liter of cola from Super Troopers. Anybody?
I haven't seen that.
I just saw it when I was on the road this week.
The second one's out too, right?
I've heard bad things about the second one,
Yeah,
but
fuck people.
even the first one's kind of cringy, but it's like goofy enough. But one of the cops goes in and is putting together an order, and he hates ordering from restaurants, and he asks for a liter of cola, and they literally like, I don't know what liter of cola is. He's like, a liter of fucking cola! Like, we don't have liter of cola here.
It's either 20 ounce or 2 liter.
Yeah.
I get it.
So,
All right, can we crack this open?
yeah, let's do it.
Drinking bell, if you want to use it, you should use it. Traditions, gotta keep them up. Otherwise, we're no better than animals. You know what I mean? I'm gonna sniff this thing. Ooh, I haven't had a. You know what? I've noticed this because I know you bought Seven Sun a night or two ago. These cans are sitting somewhere in their brewery near their fire pit because whenever I put my face up to it, the top of the can smells like smoke and fire.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Why am I talking?
Why? Hello. Yes, I understand. I know it.
What do you think, Gorbison?
I like that one. I'm good. Gorbs.
I like it a lot. I got a blonde ale because I've had in my time in Columbus, went on a small brewery tour and had a bunch of malty strong beers and one very hoppy beer. And blonde ales are nice. They're smooth. They're drinkable.
I haven't had one in a long time.
They're
so
real nice and tasty.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Something that's not as heavy, but the Belgian can add quite a bit of flavor here. So
Yeah.
we'll get here. Cheers.
Cheers to
Thanks.
everyone.
Brother John, I'm ready for this 1 pint.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Refreshing, yeah.
I think it's delightful. I think it's sweet. It's not really bitter at all. It's not too sweet.
I feel like it's very heavy Belgian, though. It's got that,
Banana.
it's almost like vanilla-y banana. But, yeah, pretty good.
Did some weirdness there. I had no control over that.
That was not. That's funny.
I'm just sitting here and it's just like something's trying to escape.
Everybody knows that where like you open your mouth right after like drinking something and it's just like bubbles are like, hey.
You're trying to escape. Sorry, guys. Hope you're not
hilarious.
listening with your headphones too loudly.
I actually hope
I'm going to crank that part. We also got some mofos up in the chat. Padilla, Kigo, Kerner on his mom's Facebook account. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Did you read the description here?
I did not.
Hazy pale yellow with a frothy white head, a light aroma of flowers and spice, crisp, crackery.
They go a little too far sometimes.
Yeah, it's like stop. Zesty
We
bitterness.
seem like a bunch of crackers.
Pair with mussels and funky gooey cheeses. All right, guys, stop. This is beer we're talking about. Can we just have a beer?
Most nights drink my beer with cheese. I also drink my water with cheese, so it may just be a coincidence.
I might just
Really?
Yeah, I actually sometimes even eat cheese without drinking a beer.
Yeah, I've done it a few times.
Sometimes I drink and no cheese involved at all. It's crazy.
You are one
I
crazy
do that
bitch.
less often.
You know, I thought that you said funky gooey cheese because you couldn't pronounce the type of cheese, but it literally says funky gooey cheese. And that's probably the name of this episode, if I could guesstimate.
Funky gooey. Well, the funny thing is, I actually wrote their description. If you look in real small print, it says written by a jackass
Very nice.
by Moby.
Rural Farm Boys up in the chat.
Hello. Jesus Christ.
That's how I'm feeling today. I'm very tired. How you guys doing?
Pretty wore out. Yeah, the Snowmageddon came through, and we didn't get quite what everybody thought we were gonna get, but still, finally there's snow on the ground by January 19th.
I'm glad there's snow, but I'm not gonna lie. I do get very annoyed at how intense people make the snow. Like
Yeah.
it's Snowmageddon, shut everything down. We're canceling everything the next day. Like, and then didn't even start snowing until 10 o'clock.
I just want to walk in the snow, and I wish we could all just think of it as a nice opportunity to take a good walk.
I agree. Unfortunately, this time there was sheets of ice on the ground under the snow, so it was a little more difficult.
Well, it was
but
instant yesterday.
yeah,
Like a snap of the fingers, it went from downpouring rain to holy shit.
34 degrees all day, and then all of a sudden like 31, and then it starts to go insane. But I am glad there's snow. I like snow.
Agreed. What are we thinking here on the beer?
I'm thinking a solid 2.
I agree. You don't get the vote.
You get to vote, but we're going to veto it and override it anyways. Do you know how our rating style works?
I really should, because I used to write your show notes.
That's very true.
I can't remember if it's 3 or 5.
So it's out of 3. It's very simple. It's like 3 is the best, 2 is very good, 1's worth trying, 0 is not even messing around with it ever.
It doesn't matter, but I concur. 2 seems real solid.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, then it doesn't. Yeah, we'll include that then.
If you agree with us, we're happy to include it. Just like most Star Wars fans.
This might be the first beer while here we've agreed on.
You also only like the original trilogy? Well, we welcome you.
Ooh, shots fired.
Just kidding. Just fucking around.
This is an inaccurate estimation of me.
Also very serious. All right.
Let's jump into Guess the Scene before we get into the major topics.
I like games.
Do I have to explain this to you as well?
I'll take context clues.
Okay. Don't even say anything.
Am I going to guess a scene?
Rogue 70.
Rogue 70. All right, cool.
So if you guys aren't familiar,
Well, we do have to explain it for the audience, so I guess you'll get that.
we are guessing what is happening at that timestamp in that movie. So in Rogue One,
70 minutes in.
70 minutes in,
It's an hour 10 for you calculators.
what exact scene are we looking at? I think that was actually one of the ones that I hit right on the mark was our last Rogue. I forget what the timestamp was, but it was the transmission of Jyn
And her daddy.
and her dad.
Is it still your favorite?
I don't know. I honestly haven't watched a Star Wars film for a while. I popped in episode 4 while I was falling asleep, and I went right asleep because there's nothing happening for about an hour and a half in that one. So,
That desert scene is pretty intense, though, man. I don't know.
but yeah, I really haven't like sat down and watched any Star Wars other than the Tortagorsky Clone Wars that we just watched here.
Oh, yeah. We started family commentary for the 2003 Tartakovsky Clone Wars cartoons. Part 1 done. Part 2 coming soon. So I'm excited about those. It was a lot of fun.
I'm excited. I didn't know they put those into one single movies. Though I remember being very excited about those when they originally came out on like Cartoon Network.
Yeah.
And then being very upset because they were 15 minutes long.
Yeah, I never saw them live, so I don't really have any context to that. I was honestly surprised when people said it. I had only seen them as like a 1 hour and 5 minute chunk, part 1 and then part 2. Good stuff.
I can take my hat off if friends want.
Oh, you don't have to. Are people yelling at you?
They better not.
You don't even know Royal Farmbar. You just like take your hat off. Hey, you're being pretty bossy over there.
Yeah.
All right,
Put a hat on, you bastard.
Back to the scene guessing.
About 0 degrees.
It's yeah.
Yeah, but not inside.
If you guys didn't know, we record outside.
It's about 80 degrees.
This is just a green screen and everything. Very elaborate green screen setup.
All right, what did I say? Rogue 70. Wow.
Okay,
So my immediate thoughts are let's start getting closer to the end of the movie. Are we past the death of Galen Erso?
I don't know, but I had a gut feeling about what this is.
Go ahead.
I think that scene with in that ship where the monk guy is doing force sensitive stuff.
That could be any Star Wars movie.
There's only was it Donnie Yen? Is that the monk in that?
Yes.
I think there's a scene where he like closes his eyes and he's like, "See, the force was around before the original trilogy," and I think it's that scene.
I don't know if is that a direct quote?
No, I'm pretty sure
It
that's
was.
what he says.
The original trilogy. He says that. Shit.
70's hard.
What's bad is I'm trying to remember the last time that you guessed and got it right, and if that was like 115, I'm gonna go like a little bit back from that.
Yeah, you're right.
You know what I mean?
So 70 would be before
Or no, that was like maybe it was 45 last time we guessed it. I don't know.
one. Yeah, so we're 50
Let me
minutes.
just meditate for a second.
We're just over an hour in, so it's an hour and 10 minutes in.
Yes, math.
Do you think we're still on Jeddah?
No. I'm gonna say Krennic lands on the platform on Edu, that rainy planet, and confronts Galen about the shit.
I'm gonna guess Vader's castle, or
Okay.
Krennic's landing on Vader's castle, because I think that's after.
That's after Edu, yeah.
I think you're both going to be closer. I think my critical mistake is I forgot all movies are long now. So I was
Yeah.
thinking 70, like we're getting towards the end. I'm like, no, there's another hour of this movie.
Yeah, almost an hour.
Yeah. No, definitely an hour.
Is it 210?
It's over 2. Yeah, it's over 2. Yeah, Edu. That's my guess.
I'm gonna say Vader's like choke slamming him, just to be more specific.
Choke slamming him.
Yeah, but like the Big Show.
Does that happen?
Does that happen?
Like The Rock. Is that real? Is that real?
He gives him the Vader's elbow.
Is that real? Final guess for you?
I'm gonna stick with Monk Guy.
Monk, dude,
saying
just Monk.
he likes the
So as long
original
as Donnie
trilogy
ends on
because there's the
screen,
Force.
you win. Not that we win anything, but okay. Let's see. Scrubbing.
Stop
Listen,
that.
man, I'm scrubbing. Oh, we're on Edu. Oh, they're on the platform. Platform's destroyed at 108. I'm close. I'm so close.
Oh shit! This might be the ship that I was talking about.
They're all coming back to the ship on Edu, getting ready for takeoff. After the rebels have come and like blown shit up.
So they commandeered a ship somehow. Because theirs blew up.
Donnie ends on screen. Ben, you win.
I think we are within 5 minutes of the scene I thought it was.
What did you call him? Jumbus?
Jamboree.
Jamboree wins almost. Yeah, it's, oh man, I'm off by like 2 minutes. It's right after they blow up the platform.
Are we doing Price is Right rules?
Yeah. Wait,
No, it's just the
closest without going over.
All right, so I win then. But again, I don't win anything
Well,
or anyone.
We didn't keep panning forward. Are we within a minute of him closing his eyes and talking about the original trilogy?
Well, first of all, he doesn't say
talking about the original.
he doesn't say a single thing about anything but the Force. Every time they
That's
show
true.
him, he's like,
Every line is like,
"The Force is wise." I'm like, what are you talking about? We're trying to shoot.
I
at
am the
stormtroopers.
Force.
We are the Forces.
Well, yeah. So what was your guess? Leave a comment on this web zone. Did you win? Did you lose?
Send us a fish stick and mails.
If you did win, what was your prize?
What was your prize? What did you capitalize on? What are you guys playing? Any video games?
When I travel, I almost always play Picross, which is a puzzle game that's got a bunch of grids and it's logic based on numbers, a little bit like Sudoku, except not at all like Sudoku, except there's a grid and numbers. It doesn't matter. It's a logic puzzle where you fill in games. I've also been playing Dragon Quest 11.
Dragon Quest 11.
Real classic JRPG stuff.
For what? What on, like on what?
Well, it's on every, but I've been playing on PlayStation 4.
Oh,
So you are a
Interesting.
PlayStation guy, huh?
But I pretty much every time I travel, I bring my Switch. I end up playing Picross.
I feel like
It's a nonogram puzzle. If I'm pretty sure is what they're technically called.
there's so many dragon titled RPGs. I guess I don't know which is which. Like Dragon Age, and there's another old one, Dragon something or other, Dragon Brothers.
I've got a really strong affinity for Dragon Quest because some of the first games I played were the Dragon Warrior games on the Game Boy, which I think
never
were
heard of
actually
this.
originally NES or SNES games.
Double
but,
Dragon
It's got a fucking 9 out of 10.
Oh, it's a ton of. If you like
RPG.
JRPGs, it is to a T that formula
What's
done
a-
really well on
what's
in
a-
every level.
JRPG.
Japanese.
Oh well, if I can't understand
And
it,
it's-
get out of my country.
It's got the it's got the artist from Dragon Ball Z. So every
okay.
time you're like, oh, that guy looks like Trunks, or he's got Goku's hair, and that's
God,
fun.
I haven't heard the name Trunks in years.
Press
I know
back. Can you go
nothing.
back?
I
That
know
guy, he
nothing.
looks like Trunks with a purple shirt.
Oh, you're blowing my mind right now. It's been a long time since I was never like big into it.
Like right there under the
yeah,
yeah.
that's funny. I enjoyed Dragon Ball Z.
We got Scyther over here.
Scyther against Trunks.com.
One of the reasons I
Tiger
like this
Lily.
game, and it's the similar reason to why I like the Batman movies you don't like, and it's puns.
Wait, which Batman movies don't I?
The one with Mr. Freeze.
Yeah, it's a bad movie.
It is a bad movie, but it has great puns.
It pisses me off. Free chill.
It's fun to make fun of and watch with our commentary.
Kidding.
There's an enemy called a ham witch that is a pig with a witch's hat, and it's delightful. That's why I like Dragon Quest.
For those not watching, he just stuck his mic into his eyeball to try to find some semblance of reality.
Oh dear Lord.
I've been meaning to. Well, we talked about it last episode when I was in the hotel. Mass Effect.
Oh, you're continuing on
I
that?
haven't played it for 2 weeks, but I'm almost done. I landed on Vermeer, and then after that is
First Mass Effect, then?
yeah, and then there's like one other mission, and then you go back to the Citadel, I think, right? So I'm like 2/3 of the way through.
You're about to hit the slowest part of the game, but it's all right because it's still one of the best games.
It is amazing.
I've played
You remember?
through like 3 times and I have no clue what planets. Like you say Vermeer, I have no clue.
So you got the 3 main planets after you get made a Spectre, and then you have Vermeer, which is like the tropical one where you're driving through the rivers and stuff. You're driving the Maker through the rivers, and then you fight Saren for the very first time.
It's where shit goes to hell.
Vermeer's the one where either Ashley or Caden die.
Yes.
Yeah, because there's okay.
Yeah, and then I believe there's another mission after that, and then you go back to the Citadel, and you're on the side of it and all that fucking shit.
I take it back. Actually, you were about to hit one of the most exciting parts of the game.
Yeah, I'm through the boring stuff finally.
Oh, okay, yeah. You
But
got
yeah,
me. Vermeer. Yeah, I don't know why I was thinking the Mako. Yeah, I was just when you said like forest.
Go
or
with
running through
the microphone in the eyeball again. I think it will help you.
try.
Shout out to N. Kern playing Jedi Academy.
Well-
This might come up later, but
It's about to
we
come up
need
right
more
now.
games with Jedis.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's about to come up right now because I already talked about Mass Effect last week. So
I'll give a quick insight. If you guys are Far Cry fans, they are super cheap right now. So probably for the next like day. So if you guys are live with us, I have watched people play it. Super fucking intense. Like I would start sweating watching someone play it. It's just so.
Is this all the Far Cry games? Or-
Yeah. So Far Cry 4, like Legendary Edition with everything, was like $15. Far Cry
Far Cry.
Primal.
I'm
Far
gonna
Cry?
say, if you like petting animals, Far Cry Primal's the best of them.
Well, that was $11. Far Cry.
never
Primal.
played any of them.
You can pet a lot of fun animals in Far Cry Primal, and that really raises a game in my in my book.
It's almost like a very very wild.
It's Far Cry 4, except they changed the things on the map.
Well, I was just trying to like, how would you describe a Far Cry game compared to something else? It's like Fallout gameplay, but very very epic, and it's not as like random.
And the shooting doesn't feel terrible.
The shooting it's pretty crazy.
Fallout with a bit of Uncharted. Would you say? I know, you never played Uncharted though.
No.
Would you say? Yeah.
I think in particular 4 and Primal have a bit of a Indiana Jones vibe to them.
Yeah, yeah, a lot of Indiana Jones. It's like temple, tomb.
Yeah, because you have like some wilderness survival type of aspects
Very
to it, right?
there is a lot of survival to it.
Yeah.
Where you have very limited supplies available. Well, at least from the intro that I've got, I'm throwing rocks and skinning cats and shit
Oh damn.
to like keep from So the first thing that I did in the intro for 4 was basically got to make it to this tower. You see a tower in a distance, and a whole bunch of people were just killed, and you're the son of someone, and like someone important. And basically, these guys try to get you out of this area. They all die. The one guy says, "Just meet me at this tower. I'm gonna try to take it over, and everybody will be safe."
Yeah.
And on the way there, there's let's just call it like 25 guys with all machine guns, and you literally have like rocks, and that's it. So
You have to hide and be sneaky.
yeah, so you sneak, and I ended up killing a guy from behind with I think you have a machete too. So you kill a guy from behind without being noticed. You take his gun, but on the way you find a dead animal, so you skin it and take the meat. So I ended up throwing the meat in between like 5 guys, and a bear smelled the meat, came out and started attacking.
Oh jeez, that's
Dude,
fucking epic.
It's like very tactical, sneaky, but like very survival as well.
That's awesome.
So I was going through these like small little villages trying to like not be seen, but also throw a rock to get other people's attention to go somewhere else. And it was just very, very on edge.
It's pretty dope.
So if you guys are, if that sounds like fun, they're very cheap on Xbox Live right now. I just finished up Jedi Academy for the first time ever.
Nice.
Complete 180
Yeah, we were
From
shitting
my-
on it last week.
from my original. I had gotten maybe 50% of the way through, and it was a tad slow, little clunky, and the what the screen. Oh, God damn it! The cutscenes
Yes.
very cringy.
Really?
Very cringy.
Yeah.
There was one where Luke, his legs didn't move. He just floated. And I was like, what the fuck am I even...
Well, he's a grandmaster. He doesn't even walk.
But when all said and done, it was like something in between Battlefront 2 and KOTOR. So it had like the action feel of a Battlefront where everything's going on, but it did have slight RPG stuff where you can choose a specific lightsaber once you get leveled up. You pick your force powers, dark side or light, and halfway through the game you get to choose to either kill or save someone. So it does have a little aspect of everything. Very action oriented on the latter end of the game, So fun. The lightsaber stuff is ridiculous at the end of the game.
That's what I remember about this game. You fill up that skill tree, then you're like, oh, I feel like a space wizard.
Yeah.
And that's what you want in a Star Wars game.
Yeah.
Dude, I did so many screenshots or screen saves because I did some ridiculous shit. First of all, it just like a normal game where it gets harder. All of a sudden, you're fighting up on bridges a million miles in the sky, and if in the middle of a battle, like you might fall off and just die, and there's lava everywhere.
Oh,
it's
Jesus.
it's kind of like that. But if you get wise with it, obviously you're a Jedi. You have force. You get a force push and pull. So I would walk into a battle, see 2 Sith or Dark Jedi in front of me. As soon as they ignited, I'd pull one off the bridge behind me, and then I'd attack the other one.
Oh,
so
damn.
in like 5 seconds, it'd be like force pull if he didn't defend it.
That's intense.
I'd throw him off the bridge, or I'd push him off the bridge, and then I would. It always slow cuts people in half. It goes into that, like, what do you call that?
Like
Bullet
a kill
time
shot.
kind of stuff?
Yeah,
kinda
like a
thing?
kill shot.
Oh,
so
yeah.
as soon as, but the crazy thing is, that same like kill slow shot thing happens whether you die or they die.
Right. I
So
remember
it's
that
kind of
happening.
like
Yay, or kind of a
you got to
fuck
wait
you.
to see which lightsaber.
Yeah, like in Skyrim.
Yeah,
That happens in Skyrim. Yeah,
yeah.
the killing blow. That sounds sweet.
And you also get to go to really cool places. That, like I said, there was one where you end up on Vader's castle. You do end up on Korriban, and you start fighting in the Sith temples. And there's like puzzles you have to figure out inside the Sith temples. You got to push or pull or fly up or do whatever.
Yeah.
And then you end up fighting the ghost of Marco Ragnos, which is just an ancient Sith
I remember Mark
lord. Basically, one of the evil girls steals his, I don't know what you call it, trident or whatever, and she's like taking people over because it's so strong. But it's kind of like the Skywalker lightsaber in Episode 7. People just are touching it and they're going to a fucking daze, and so like a ancient Sith lord's weapon or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
People were sort of following her and going evil and everything. She finally gets to the temple, and you see the ghost come out and like takes her body and like becomes her. Totally
I
possessed.
did not finish this game because this sounds dope, and
Holy
I did not
fuck.
remember it.
Yeah.
Wait, say that one more time.
It basically you get into Marco Ragnos's tomb, and she's standing there with the trident. I forget what it's like, a staff, but a weird looking thing.
I like Trident. Let's go with that.
But you fight her, you defeat her, and then the ghost of the Sith Lord comes out, talks shit to you, and then like goes into her body,
like
and
reanimates her?
Yeah,
Oh,
and takes
fuck.
her over,
That sounds sweet.
and then you have to kill her or him or her again.
That's like
and-
some old school Sith wizardry magic and stuff, which is dark side awesome.
It's pretty fucking awesome.
I just said
honestly.
dark side awesome.
Also, like small tidbits, you can. So the setup to the missions prior to everything is kind of weird because it just gives you like a list of 5 missions that you can do, which is like there's no flow to the game. It's just like, I want this one because it says Kashyyyk or what, and you're like, okay, whatever.
It's a good reason.
Yeah, well, yeah, but yeah, I did every mission. So there's like 4 sets of 5,
Yeah.
and you only have to do 4 of them.
Real farm boy
I had to
doesn't know what we're
super
talking about.
agree with Nkern because they made 2 Force Unleashed games, spent millions of dollars on them, and Jedi Academy still the most you ever feel like a Jedi in a video game.
Yeah.
Well, I would say that and Jedi Outcast, those two are very similar.
The sequels, right?
Yeah, so Outcast is the one after this.
Right.
But this was released in 03, so we're talking, what, Battlefront? Well, the first Battlefront came out.
About, I think, yeah.
KOTOR came out, and that. I mean, what the fuck? EA?
Which we'll get into now.
Yeah. Very, very happy. It is, honestly, probably one of my favorite Star Wars games of all time. Up there.
Wow.
Up there. It's really
That changed
fucking
a lot.
fun.
That changed a lot from last week. That's awesome.
Well, the other cool thing is, like, it doesn't even force you to use lightsabers until the very end. You could whip out a rocket launcher halfway through the game, and it still fucking works. Until you get to that, like, Sith temple where you shoot a rocket at a Sith, and he pushes it back at you, and you're like, Jesus Christ.
Fuck, that's crazy.
Oh, yeah. It gets pretty fucking intense.
And you're playing this on Xbox?
Yeah. I bought it, I think it was like $8 on Xbox Live on the backwards compatible because it's for the original Xbox.
I feel like when I bought a bunch of those, like I got Republic Commando and stuff, I didn't see those on there.
Public
I'll have to
Commando,
go.
Also fun.
I'll have to go check.
Kerner, can you double check that? He's saying Outcast was 02, Academy was 04.
Colonel likes to throw out dates.
I don't believe you.
That's why he's never back on the podcast.
Because Outcast felt like a more complete game. Because you're Kyle Katarn in Outcast.
Jedi Outcast. 2002.
He's right. I'm pissed now.
That's the only thing Kerner knows.
That it's very true.
Dates and people's heights.
I'm just gonna throw this out there. Maybe he is googling things.
Yeah,
No, he's been on the
guesses.
show, and that's usually what he comes out with.
Okay.
No, guys, I'm telling you. 2002, Jedi Outcast, 2002, 2004, Jedi Academy.
All he knows
Guarantee.
is
I don't want me to be that guy to say I know the dates, but that's what the dates are.
that's what he. Yeah, it's dates of video games and lengths of the movies. No,
And
217, Rogue One. You remember?
Yeah, and actress cup sizes as well. It's a breadth of knowledge there, Lord
That's
Kerner.
awesome.
So can we get to the bad news of today?
Yeah, so sparking off of... Oh, Jesus, I said spark. Going off of this Star Wars game nonsense that we're glorifying right now, we have some more bad news.
Actually, isn't it good news?
No, it's bad news.
No, I'd say bad news.
See, the only way I would spin this... So EA canceled another fucking Star Wars game. That's what we're getting into.
Surprise, surprise.
It says EA cancels open world Star Wars game. Fans feared for the worst when it was announced that EA was taking over Star Wars licensing from Lucasfilm
All right,
or LucasArts.
that's too
Yeah,
much.
so Jason Schreier wrote about this on Kotaku. Pretty like they canceled the second game. They canceled a game about a year ago, and
whatever they took over from... What was the studio?
So
They shut down Visceral or whatever? Is that what it is?
yeah, Visceral's the one they already closed down. Respawn's the only one they still have working. And they closed down the game that Amy Hennig was working on, who is the person who did Uncharted. And from people who have seen it, Gary Whitta, one of the guys who wrote on Rogue One, talked about it. He saw it, and it looked like a Star Wars Uncharted. You play as a bounty hunter, looked awesome. They canceled that because they didn't want a linear storytelling game, a first-person storytelling game. That is like literally pretty much what their press release said. They moved on to an open-world game, and... then they also led by Amy Hennig, and then they canceled that
Now
one.
that is the new one that just got canceled, yeah.
That's so, like...
And the news here is also, let's see, they canceled it to focus on because it was such a big project that it wasn't going to be coming out for a while.
Yeah.
They canceled it to focus on a smaller scale Star Wars project that can come out much sooner.
And they're aiming for 2020 for that one. Which is... could still be cool, but the thing it's hard to not see it that EA is really fucking things up, because the last time EA and video games were brought up in Star Wars video games, it was because of Battlefront 2, which I think is an all right game, but the PR around it is abysmal.
Every time EA is brought up, it's bad. For the past 4 years, I would say.
I mean, they fucked up the same game twice. How do you fucking do that?
Yeah, in a way that is stuck. And that actually has kind of stuck for all games.
They're just... we've talked about it. They limit the Star Wars possibilities so much.
Yep.
God damn, guys.
So this leads me to something I was wondering. And do you know how Marvel treats their video games?
No.
So Marvel also...
I haven't
owned
seen
by
a Marvel
Disney.
video game because they've all been mobile.
Spider-Man came out.
Oh, yeah, I don't PlayStation. My bad. Sorry.
Phenomenal. In I guess, about 2 years, maybe 3. Once the PS5 comes out, you can play it.
Once I have kids, I can play.
So they don't have an agreement with any company. They have, like, Square Enix's Crystal Dynamics, I believe, is working on a Avengers game. They had Spider-Man being done by
Sony?
Insomniac at a company that with first person Sony, and
Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 is coming out.
that looks cool. And so they're all done by different studios.
Right.
And so, but instead, EA made a deal with Marvel or Disney for, I don't even know how
makes
much money
sense.
to have a 10-year license on it. And it's hard to be like in that same time, we have seen 4 Star Wars movies and 2 Star Wars games that were pretty much the same game.
And both pretty much bad.
And the only reason I can imagine Disney doesn't hate them is that they have a mobile game too, maybe
Yeah,
multiple, and I'm sure those make millions a month.
Yeah.
What, the Galaxy of Heroes?
Yeah.
Yeah, that little gotcha game.
Yep. It's
I'm honestly
upsetting, man.
I'm honestly surprised that, like, with the clout that Disney has and how good they are at kind of like leading the direction of an IP, that they haven't just bought a game publisher and like rebranded it as like Disney Interactive or something, and then gotten studios to work underneath that.
They did have that, and they kind of got rid of them because they used to be like doing Disney Infinity and some other games.
That's right.
And then they got rid of those.
And I know they ditched LucasArts when they acquired Lucasfilm.
Yeah.
Which I don't understand that either.
All right, so Disney owns Marvel. Disney owns Lucasfilm. Why wouldn't they treat it the same?
Maybe they tried a
Such a
different
good
thing
question.
with it.
Like, I think maybe because Star Wars doesn't have a like person in charge the same way that Marvel, like Kevin Feige, maybe someone else now is sort of like in charge, and I don't know if maybe he also dictates some of the way they do the other stuff. There's not like this one guy.
I mean, I feel like Kathleen's pretty much in charge.
No, it's the Greer. Mark Greer?
Bob Iger's the
Bob
CEO
Iger.
of Disney. Richard Gere? Yes, Bob Iger. No, he's the CEO of Disney, but I'm saying
okay.
Kathleen runs Lucasfilm. So I feel
thought
like she's in charge of Star Wars.
Well, she's in charge of the films.
Lucasfilm.
Films. Not
Lucasfilm.
LucasArts. Different companies, right?
No LucasArts.
It says LucasArts right here. Purchase of LucasArts.
LucasArts was on its way out. They shut it down after they bought it.
That's right. It's just, okay.
You know what I'm saying, though.
Playing an old fucking game and being blown away by it pisses me off in the same way that I'm so happy that old games stand up.
In some confusing way. It pisses me
Yeah,
off.
it does. It's like this.
I understand.
It's not. It doesn't even have to look that great. Battlefront 2 looks great. Why can't we just have a Overwatch Star Wars game?
There is some hope. There is
No, there's
one
not.
more
No,
Star Wars.
there's only one hope left.
No. There is
Obi
a Star
Kenobi's
Wars
dead.
game being worked on right now at EA with the word Jedi in it.
No.
I think it's Jedi.
Yeah, Fallen Order. Fallen
Yeah.
Order.
No. That's not hope.
I'm excited for that.
It had a terrible announcement, but it's got the word Jedi in it, and that does make me excited.
Everything about the last E3 was pretty cringe, but anything that EA is in control of, I'm just not optimistic about anymore. Like, yeah, it can sound cool that it comes after Order 66, but like, if EA is still in charge after the fuck fest with Battlefront 2 and now Battlefield, as much as I love Battlefield 5, it's just like, yeah, I can't be optimistic about
being
it.
made by the people that made Titanfall, and they make games that are fun to play.
Yeah.
I know, but Battlefront was made by the people that made Battlefield, which we loved, but the game didn't turn out.
Yeah, but I also
way.
haven't liked the Battlefield since Bad Company 2.
Oh man, you're just a terrible person. I love
We
Battlefield
didn't
3,
start
4.
Until 3. So.
I like what the Black Ops one, the Cops and Robbers one. I
didn't
play
play
them all.
Yeah.
Battlefield 5 is really fun. Battlefield 1 was a little lull, but I do think they perfected it with 5. Yeah, I played a round before I came over here. I love Battlefield 5.
And you're literally the first person I've ever met that is playing Battlefield this year.
Oh, really? I play with a lot of our listeners play Battlefield 5.
It's fun.
We still group up. Yeah, I don't know what it is. It is it was a notch back. But compared to even 4 was so like, I don't even know what you call it, readily available. Like you jump in and there's just shit everywhere and happening. Battlefield 1 and 5 are like a little slower, but I mean it's World War 1 and World War 2, so you're like,
Yeah.
let's run through these bushes.
The most beautiful mud you could ever see in a game.
It's cross through the farm.
It truly is.
Yeah.
It truly is the most beautiful mud
Yeah.
you could ever hope to have.
Everyone hates EA. I don't know what they're going to do. I'm serious. I'm just in general. Everyone that has a game that's getting published by EA, they're all pissed about it.
So okay, let's just say Disney is making money off this because the mobile games are making so much money. Do you think they'll take the exclusive license away from EA still?
They have
Depends
to.
on how long the agreement's for.
Just because they're making money doesn't mean
It's 10
a,
years, so
it's
about
a
6
good,
years in.
It doesn't mean it's a good business deal just because you're making money. You're still leaving this amount of money on the table. Like this, like 3 games haven't been made that could have been.
Right.
So you're literally throwing money away. They put time and effort into creating this game, and then months down the road, they're like, never mind.
The one optimistic side is that everything they made for the game can probably still be repurposed for other stuff.
Very
like if
true.
they made character models and assets and storylines and stuff like that.
And I'm sure this happens way more often than we would even like. I'm sure games are come and go and everything.
All the time.
It's just on the forefront because it's another Star Wars game by EA that's not happening. And you're
Yep.
like, Of course.
And
But
I think you look at, because I don't know how true this is. There's some hearsay from a person on Twitter who like was on that game and got canceled, saying that they came in and they were essentially like, FIFA makes this much money, like $1 billion a year.
Oh,
How
yeah.
is this game going to make us money in meetings? And it makes you wonder why they ever hired Amy Hennig to do that kind of game. And because you look at Sony. Sony has Uncharted. I'm sure Uncharted is not. Like, it makes money, but it's not making like, but they also have, those baseball, the MLB games.
Mm-hmm.
And those also, like, I'm sure those make money. Every year they release them. They've got those kind of modes where you can buy card packs. But those Uncharted games are like prestige. Like, they make you think that Sony makes great games of these like, single player experiences. And they've really built on that like clout. And they have,
I think it's a really
prestige now.
popular franchise too.
Well, Uncharted is because it's very good.
Right,
Like,
that's what I mean.
like Uncharted 1, no one cared about Uncharted 1 when it came out, like before it came out, and then it came out and people were like, well, this is really cool.
Yeah, I mean, you have to take time to build it up.
But now they have the God of War game, that Spider-Man game. They have a bunch of these games that people are like, these are real. Horizon, they're like these single player games that are really cool. I think they build what people think about the company. And even if they made a game that didn't make a ton of money, what if people didn't hate EA because they released a good game?
It's going to take, regardless of what they do with Star Wars, EA itself in general is going to take a while to repair their reputation if they do at all. I mean, everybody thinks of EA as like a company that wants to put out quick games to make as much money as possible.
But they haven't done even that.
Like they don't care as much about the IP. They don't care as much about making a good game. They don't want to take the long-term route to make a really badass game.
Or maybe these games weren't good, but the PR looks terrible.
Yeah, I know.
Well, and it's not even like you said, they're not even living up to the bad reputation that they created.
Yeah.
They're not even putting out games anymore. Like, they're just canceling shit, and the 2 games that they put out were failures. Well, in large part, but it's a crock of shit. I hate Star Wars now.
Think about Skyrim came out in 2011. The next Elder Scrolls game is not even going to come out until 2020. That's a 9-year gap between 2 games.
I don't think the next okay. I don't think it's going to come out in 2020.
2021?
It's not going to come out until the next consoles are out, and I think at least a year after.
Really?
All they've showed is a logo of it.
For the Fallen Order, you're saying?
No, I went to Elder Scrolls.
Oh.
I'm saying like the gap of time between Elder Scrolls 5 and 6 is huge. It's going to be almost 10 years. Bethesda is prepared to take the long-term route to make sure the next installment of this beloved fucking franchise is going to be as good as it could possibly be.
Definitely.
And EA doesn't do that. Even though they're handed one of the most beloved franchises of all time that's been going for 40 years, they still can't even like respect it enough to do it with that.
Well, I think it's almost like the lack of competition. No one else is doing Star Wars games, so they have.
Yeah, we've talked about that too. Yeah,
they're strangleholding the whole franchise. It's got to be bad on both ends. First of all, EA's not making money off these games. They're giving away the DLC stuff for free because people bitched at the terrible game. Even though I agree, I will play it and I do enjoy parts of it, but in large part, like, I bought it on sale and haven't put any more money into it, so they can't be making. They're not making money off me.
I don't pay extra beyond the money I pay in a game in any game. But,
Yeah.
I played it and it's fine. It's not bad. It's gorgeous. It's great to see the ships and the robots and all that stuff in there. But
droids, they're called droids.
They're called droids.
It's just.
I know, it's just unfortunate. It's just like if this was the first time this happened, you'd be like, oh man, that sucks. I wonder what they're gonna do next. But it's just like one thing after another. No positive news from EA since Battlefront 1 came out in 2015. So yeah. Sorry, Farm Boy.
If 4 years from now the 10-game contract's up, they stop having exclusive license, is there a publisher or a developer that you would like to make a Star Wars game?
First of all, Star Wars is going to end with Episode 9, and then we're fucking done, and there's nothing after it because it's going to be the greatest thing of all time.
I mean,
and they're
I'm
going to
done.
end with a bang.
I'm done.
Star Wars is going to... That's the day that thing comes out, the podcast is done.
I've really been wanting to shut things down, but I feel like we should just wait till Episode 9. We've been going for 5 years. We should just hold out at least a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe next week.
No, I don't think they should be exclusive with anybody. Exactly what you said about the Marvel thing. Like, they should open it up because they can make different style games.
Is there anyone you think would make a great one?
I think Bethesda would make a good RPG. Open world RPG.
I have to say,
I think Blizzard would make a good shooter.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't know the name of the developer off the top of my head, but are you familiar with the Wipeout games?
No.
They're like sort of like F-Zero. They're like these racing engine little hover cars that are going just like insane speeds. I think if they made a pod racing game, it would be phenomenal.
That'd be dope.
You could almost make like a Star Wars Forza, and just do something ridiculous. Like, who cares? Put some crazy shit in there.
I feel like they're straying away from doing that. I was thinking as we were recording the, I wanted to bring this up when we were doing the Clone Wars fanboy commentary earlier today. We were talking about how they threw everything they wanted to, any crazy designs, they threw it out there, and because it was a cartoon and it was 2003, they could just make whatever they wanted. I feel like Disney, I'm not upset with how they're handling Star Wars, but I feel like they are being a little more reserved in what they let people put out. I feel like they're taking less of a, what's the word?
I wouldn't call one movie a year reserved, but
I'm not saying the schedule of anything. I'm more saying like the type of content they're putting out.
Yeah.
Like they didn't make Luke Skywalker be a crazy lightsaber badass and fight all the AT-ATs and whatever. Like they were focused more on things like, I don't know, the definition of the Force, as opposed to flashy fighting styles and effects and things like that. I feel like that's just a change in how they're in their tone and how they're handling Star Wars. That's kind of how it was in the originals, the prequels, and that whole era. Lucas was like, let's do whatever the fuck we want. And now we're going kind of back to a little bit more reserved, but still good. I'm just saying, like, in terms of style.
You know what kind of game I would just fucking love is like a Titanfall Star Wars, but make it around the clones. So
Republic Commando, like spiritual successor.
almost like a crazy updated Republic Commando, but you go in and out of like a. You could even make it up. Like I'm talking about like what kind of droid or what kind of ship or what kind of AT-AT walker, whatever you want to like put it into the game, but just make it mobile where you get out, you have to do things on foot, then you get back into your machine, and then you have to. I mean, it's like a checkpoint thing where. If you ever played Titanfall, you would know.
I haven't.
Titanfall, it was like they would forcefully, through storyline, break you up from your Titan. You'd have to go on foot, and it would be very first-person shooter, very like Call of Duty, but with a little extra pizzazz because you like run on walls and crazy shit.
Yeah.
And then you would meet up back with your Titan, get in it, and then it was very like mech assault, like blow shit up and use all the extra special powers and rockets and shit. I could make that with clones.
I'd cool, like a pilot
clones,
or something like that.
Yeah.
Some type of piloting with like first-person shooter integrated into it.
That's my favorite part of Battlefront 2 is the space stuff, actually.
I agree.
Yeah, he says that all the time.
Perfected it. It's so fun to play, and it's easy. I feel like
I
when
wouldn't say
you
perfected, but yeah.
But it's so smooth, and it's so chaotic. It's like chaotically smooth, which is so hard to do.
Right. No, I know what you mean. As soon as you said that, I know what you mean.
Because the first Battlefront, you jump in shit. I think it in the 2015 one, you could still jump in.
I don't think so.
No,
it's like
no?
you load. Yeah.
What am I thinking of? There was something else that maybe
Maybe
it's just
the
like,
old ones.
I know the original concept of Battlefront 3 was that it was going to be like on land and in space, like at the same time, and you would go in and out and go back to.
See, I wish they would do like a whole, like just do like a quarter of a planet, where part of it is space, and then whoever gets the upper edge in space can land and start like.
Apparently, that's how the new game mode's supposed to be. Well, I don't know if they're actually going to be able to pull it off, but the new game mode that's supposed to come out in February with Anakin is supposed to be like that.
Anakin, drop
the DLC.
Oh man.
Open license. Shinobi says. Hi, Shinobi. Hi,
Open it
Travis
up.
Dunn.
Open it up. Spider-Verse. Let's go.
Wait, we got. You want to finish Star Wars stuff?
I'd rather not.
What?
The fuck else are we supposed to talk about?
Mild, I'm going to say I still have some hope for the company that made Titanfall making a Star Wars game. I think it'll feel fun to play. I don't know about anything else. I hope it comes out. But I'm really hoping that comes out this fall.
I'll get it. I'm sure I'll get it. I just am not optimistic.
I'm not optimistic, but it is the only thing that is happening in Star Wars games. I want it to be good. So bad.
Wouldn't that be cool if you were a clone commander in the game that I just built?
That would be cool. Anything else that you say doesn't matter because that would be cool.
In a game that you were doing some special ops shit, you were using some type of vehicle or something. Halfway through, shit hit the fan, and then like Mace Windu busted through a wall and said, "All right, you just follow me. I'll get you where you need to go." And then he takes the fuck off once he gets you there.
Well, this game has Samuel
Dude,
Jackson.
I'd be like, "Oh, I get to fucking fight with Mace Windu right now. I don't care if I get to be him. I get to see him do some crazy shit."
Yeah.
And at one point, maybe he gets like bogged down by something, and I gotta protect him and like keep him. I'm getting hard just thinking about it, guys.
They should make a Clone Wars game, like just Clone Wars.
Yeah.
You think maybe that's part of the issue with the Battlefront is that they're spread across all 3 eras, and like, even though it's really just kind of cosmetic stuff, they're kind of spread a little bit thin. Whereas if they focused on like even one style of battle in the entire Clone Wars conflict, they could really get more specific with it.
I don't have an issue with it because in a game like Battlefront 2, you have to do many eras because it's just run and gun. Like you said, a lot of it's just skins. Like it doesn't even really make a difference.
There's like always stormtroopers, just 3 different kinds.
But if they do any type of story mode, they need to pick one and go with it.
Yeah.
So, which they did. It was a bad story mode. Did you ever play the campaign for Battlefront 2?
Yeah, parts look cool. It wasn't a great story. Yeah, that's sad.
It was bad.
Disappointing. It felt like they had all these maps from the multiplayer, and they're like, well, what can we do with these maps?
Yeah, like I said, I felt like it was an intro
I don't
to
even
all
know
heroes.
if I would say that. A lot of the stuff in this campaign wasn't in the multiplayer. Because the multiplayer only has like 3 things.
And say,
and they only make 2 of them available at any given time.
Also, they wrote 2 Battlefront 2 books about Iden and how evil she was, and 2 missions in, she's like, "Yeah, the Empire's not that great.
My dad's a dick.
My dad's a dick."
Yeah,
what up, Leia?
The way that she shifts in that is absurd. Like, okay, now we're shooting all the people that were my friends. That is that moment. That was terrible.
So bad. See, that's another issue. I know we've harped on it before, but like that's an issue where I feel like the developers were really going somewhere interesting with it, and then EA. I don't know I don't know if that happened. I'm just assuming EA came in and was like, make the campaign like 2 hours, and they had to cut out all of the shit that made her switching actually give you an impact. I don't know. I'm just making stuff up.
Before we go to
which is what we do every week.
Do you know anything about this fan theory that chat's talking about?
Who's talking about what?
Do you know anything about the?
I can never do that. Can you do that?
No.
The disturb thing? I can't do it fast enough. It always gets stuck in my head. Like the drum beat at the beginning and everything is like so intense, but I can never actually sing it.
It's almost like you can't do it at a whisper. You'd have to do it full.
Did they talk
where's
about
this
Star
theory?
Wars theory fan film?
Oh, you've seen the Vader fan film?
No.
You haven't even seen it yet? Huh.
No.
All right.
I haven't seen it.
I really
so
don't want
we
to
might
talk
not be
about
here
it.
to talk about it.
I really don't. You haven't seen it either?
No.
Okay. I really don't even want to talk about it, even if you had.
Was it a decent film?
It was decent. For a fan film, it was great.
Oh, okay.
But in general, I was just like, it's like a bunch of cool force powers. I don't really. It's cool, but like.
No story writing. It was just fun to watch.
There is and there isn't.
Okay.
I don't want to say much until you've seen it. The whole issue was, it was, for a split second, was copyrighted on YouTube by Disney, and he was freaking out and being a whining crybaby about it. And then he like spoke up, and like Disney came back in and removed the copy strike or whatever. So there's just a bunch of drama for a few days on Twitter, and everybody's freaking out and like blah blah blah.
Oh, but it's still like available?
Yeah, it was always available. They weren't going to take it down, but they were claiming, they basically told him, it's a big project. So he went to Lucasfilm. He's like, yo, can I make this? They're like, yeah, no big deal. He's like, can I monetize it? They're like, obviously not. He's like, can I crowdfund it to help cover the cost? They're like, no, you can't make any money in any way off of this whatsoever. He's like, okay, I'm going to do it anyways. So he did, and he didn't put ads on it at all. And then because the music that he had written had a little ditty of the Imperial March in there, the music group that owns all the music came in and copyrighted it, and then was monetizing it on YouTube, like getting all the monetization from it on YouTube.
Wait, but if he didn't have ads on it, then what were they actually getting out of it?
Maybe he did have ads on it. He just couldn't make any money from it. I might have misspoke on that. The main part was they said he could do it, and then they came in and like put a copyright mark on it. But at the same time, you used the Imperial March in your music. Like, I don't know what you expected.
Well, okay, so I have many issues on both sides. First of all, you created a Star Wars thing and thought maybe perhaps that you could make something off of it. That's not going to happen. Regardless of who you are, I don't care if you got an okay by Jesus. No one gives a fuck.
We don't have a Patreon.
You can't make something with Star Wars on it and then try to make money off of it.
We don't have a Patreon.
And then you knowingly went in. you knowingly went in trying to do it, saying with the okay, but you can't do any of this. You can do it, but you can't make any money. You can't crowdfund. You can't do shit. And he said, okay, I'm going to do it anyways. Well, you're walking into a fucking fire.
No, he was allowed to do it, just knowing that he couldn't make money from it.
And he couldn't crowdfund it.
Right.
And you can't use other shit.
No, he can use it whatever he wants as long as he's not monetizing.
The music.
Of course, right.
You got the okay to make the film, not a, hey, I'm going to put Han Solo in there and have his theme and there's going to be a nude scene. So
that was the best part. My whole thing was like, if you weren't planning on making any money from it, you already knew that ahead of time. If they copyrighted it, why do you care? What does that change? Doesn't change anything.
It really doesn't.
If people like the fan film, they still liked it. They still like your channel, like whatever. There's really nothing to be said about it.
Yeah. What was the end game? To get more followers? And I'm sure he did.
Just make cool content and stuff. Yeah. I mean, and then it was verging on I was trying to be positive about Disney Star Wars, and of course they come in and copy claim my video, so fuck Disney. I'm going George Lucas all the way, blah, blah, blah.
But it wasn't even Disney that copyrighted it. It was the company that owns the music, right?
The music copywriting and publishing stuff is so confusing. There's like 8 companies that claimed it because you have like a bunch of hands involved in who owns the publishing rights versus the recording rights and the mechanical versus whatever. It's really confusing.
So to like try to put it into my head, it's like if someone put something out there with Michael Jackson's music, but Michael Jackson didn't own his own music. Well, yeah, I think he did at the end, but like it would be the
just think about how many hands are involved in like Metallica,
right?
The producer, the label, all 4 members, and the publisher, like all that kind of stuff. They all have a little bit of a claim over it.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, that might not have been the best explanation ever. The point is, if you make really cool fan created content and don't expect to monetize it, don't bitch about things when Disney claims copyright over the things that they own.
That's what you get for making a fan
Just
film.
don't use it as a platform to like go anti-Disney on just because they made one little claim on you. Just why'd you put the Imperial March in your music?
Well, the fact that they said okay, you can do it, I would say is pro Disney.
Yeah, that's great.
You went to them and they said okay.
That's more than I would ever
Because
expect.
I would have expected them to be like, no, you can't fucking do any of that. This is our shit.
They love this. They love fan films. They love people furthering their IP without them having to do anything about it.
Yeah, that's free.
No.
Yeah, Star Wars content.
Why do you think there's like has any Star Wars podcast ever been like claimed or sued or copy striked about anything?
Well, halfway through, globalist, Disney globalist.
We don't have a Patreon.
Jesus.
Yeah. Anyways, so yeah. But yeah, any publicity is good publicity.
Unless it's bad, and you're a shit talker.
The thing that really irked me was when they first did the claim and he made a response video and he was on the verge of being like, fuck Disney because of this. Because then everybody that watches his channel is going to convert over to the fuck Disney Star Wars, fuck Last Jedi, blah, blah, blah.
Dealing in absolutes.
And we just don't need that.
I haven't had a chance to say this. The Last Jedi is wonderful. It's the second best Star Wars movie.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's good to hear. I got it pretty high up now. We can do rankings at the end.
Probably sits in the middle for me.
We should rank.
There's definitely films worse. There's definitely films better. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
In fact, I would say
You could say that about everything.
the most excited I have been leaving a movie since The Last Jedi was Spider-Verse.
Let's
Good
get into that.
segue. I was in love with that movie from second one.
It is phenomenal.
It was amazing.
I agree, but going into it, well, first of all, a year and a half after it was actually released, I had heard such like perfection reviews that I went into it. I was like, all right, I'm just ready to be fucking exploded, blown away. And I mean, it was exceptional, but I was like kind of a half step back. I was like, yeah, it was very unique. It was so cool how they meshed everything.
Yeah.
It was funny. It was different, which how do you do Spider-Man different? There's 110 Spider-Man movies out there and you still did it different and did it well. I thought the comic book animation of it was fucking cool. I thought it was hilarious that there was a pig dude.
And it was John Mulaney.
Oh my god, I know, it was amazing.
Yeah. So
And Nicolas Cage as the noir Spider-Man.
Oh, was
Amazing
he really?
casting.
Yeah.
And I think Donald Glover was
the kid.
yeah, right?
No.
Am I crazy about that?
No.
Am I wrong about that? Okay.
No. Donald Glover may or may not be Miles Morales' uncle in the MCU if it comes to that.
Okay.
Oh, okay. The fact that Miles is a Spider-Man.
It's awesome.
I'm not into the comic book stuff, so I don't know.
Neither do I.
I knew that was a thing, but I think they did it incredibly well.
Yeah.
I knew he was a Spider-Man. I didn't know about the alternate universe splitting stuff. I like to get my wife's reaction on things like this because she likes like superhero movies. She usually likes the story and everything. But when it gets a little too like the alternate dimension thing, I thought was gonna fuck with like her following the movie, but she followed it the entire time and she loved it. And I think that's a huge accomplishment for them to like general fans can handle like 7 Spider-Men splitting universes or dimensions and coming together and totally make sense of it and still enjoy the movie and still be able to follow it.
Yeah,
Spider-
It's crazy how they did
First
that.
of all, they're not all Spider-Men.
We've got Spider Hams.
I was going to say there was a Spider Swine.
Spider Humans, Spider Swine.
Is that the name of the episode?
Yes.
Spider Swine.
Yes.
Not something about gooey cheese.
Yeah, Spider Swine's way better.
It just had so many aspects. Okay, the storytelling, great. The fact that you could follow a multiverse thing, great. It felt like a big movie.
Yes.
But they still kept it personal.
Yes.
About Miles.
Yes.
And they built it in the fact. I mean, the fact that the bad guy ended up being his uncle, and you're like, of course, but still awesome because everybody has that close family member or friend that dies. If you're a spider individual.
Which had its own scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was like, and then
His relationship with his dad.
I loved every time he said, I'm only going to do this once.
Yep.
And then every time it worked so well. All of those scenes were great, man. Did either of you see it in 3D?
No.
I did not.
If you can, I don't care to see 3D. It's one, they're $6 more expensive than other movies.
Neither do
And
I,
B,
yeah.
they don't seem to do anything. It is
Right.
the most remarkable 3D I've ever seen in a movie.
That makes sense, yeah, because it's animated.
I almost went into a fucking psycho killer space flying through my eyeballs there was so much shit to look at on the screen. I don't know if I could handle the 3D stuff.
Yeah. It already gave you CJ as it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was flying through DMT life.
I did like how they made fun of how many Spider-Man movies they've been and like the origin story and like the little dance sequence from Spider-Man 3. Like they poke fun at themselves. I thought it was awesome.
No. Do you
liked it.
have a favorite Spider-Man from the movie?
Favorite Spider-Man?
Or Spider-Person? Or Spider individual?
Spider Sapien.
That doesn't work out.
Maybe.
Still a swine.
I don't get it.
I like Gwen. Gwen's a fucking badass.
Spider-Gwen has to have one of the coolest superhero suits that exists.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She looks awesome.
Oh yeah.
The fact that it's a hoodie, you're like,
yeah, one of the
of course.
coolest hoodies
Yeah.
in the world.
I know it's probably a cop out to say the main character, but I think Miles was my favorite, especially because I've heard about him before. People that we are friends with that actually know comics have brought him up multiple times. It was cool to actually see his origin story and like get to know him as a character finally.
I think he could easily be my favorite, but because we only saw like his origin,
Right.
I'd still go with Gwen.
Yeah.
You know what? I did not expect this when I left it that one of the Peter Parkers would be my favorite, but Peter B. Parker, the
fat
is
one?
surprisingly like I didn't think I would care about him at all. Like when he was introduced, and the fact that I cared about him a lot at the end of that, I
Yeah.
was really impressed by.
He was like the broken teacher. He was almost like an Obi-Wan, where Obi-Wan's really wise, but also you can like see he's tainted by everything that's going on.
Yep.
He was kind of that
He
relationship.
has to
between-
overcome some of his own shit along the way.
Yep.
Teaching the pupil kind of helps him get back into the flow of things. Yeah.
But I am still going to give it to the pig because he is remarkable and he's John Mulaney, and the fact that it visually didn't look absurd is incredible.
Oh, and I forgot the anime robot thing too.
Yeah,
I totally
she might
forgot
be
about
my
that.
least favorite
Yeah,
just
easily.
because all she does is visually interesting things and nothing actually interesting in the film.
I thought that was interesting that was in there in the first place.
So of course, like when you have multiverse stuff, you're like, of course that can happen, especially because she's from the future. So she like has the spider as a pet. You're like, It's outrageous, but it works because it's a multiverse. There's a fucking cartoon pig flying around. Like, who cares?
Conceptually,
Right.
I do think the spider being in there and she communicates it is a very interesting twist on the story.
Yeah, I think it powers it or something like that. The spider
I think
powers the suit.
I that is the only one that I had no
remember.
familiarity with before going into the
He's
movie.
I watched an Easter egg video about it and I still don't remember.
He's just good with his hands.
But I'm hoping if they're doing more. They're doing at least Spider-Gwen and another Spider-Verse, and I'm really hoping we see the weird Japanese Spider-Man show up.
I don't know about that.
There's a weird Japanese like 70s or 80s TV show with the worst Spider-Man outfit.
yes.
And just like reuses scenes all the time. Not even that good of like special effects, and it's hilarious.
Did you guys see the post-credit scene?
I didn't.
Yes.
I'm pissed at
Hilarious.
myself. I didn't.
Hilarious. First of all, who was that spider?
Spider 2099 or some shit. I heard about it. I didn't see it.
It's so I know it's another guy that is another Spider-Man, but I really only know it as far as like being like, here is a character that is not a white man as a superhero, like those sorts of things, and that he is, I'm pretty sure that is like one of the first of Marvel's Hispanic superheroes.
Oh,
But he is someone from the future going back, I believe.
yeah. Because when he shows up
Oh,
in
I
that
guess
60s Spider-Man stuff, I was laughing my ass off. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, very funny.
Also, the 60s Spider-Man cartoon, the way the mouth moves is hilarious.
Yes, that is phenomenal. Oh, and then they do the meme. They reference the meme there.
Oh, yeah.
The Spider-Man pointing at itself
pointing at each
meme.
other. Yeah, that's awesome.
And I think that is one of the funniest self-referential jokes I've seen in a movie.
That's pretty good.
I'm a spider. So here's an interesting thought that a lot of Star Wars fans that have seen Spider-Verse have been saying. Do you know that it was produced and written by Lord and Miller, the directors that were supposed to do Solo?
I did know that.
So a lot of people saw this and was like, Spider-Verse is amazing. Debuted with 100% rating. Everybody loves it. What had happened if they had just stayed on the project for Solo?
I mean, a lot of people like those 21 Jump Street movies too. I haven't seen those, but people like those a lot too.
I do.
That's who they
Did that
those?
too, yeah, and the Lego movie.
They're all right. The Lego movies are great.
I think having seen Spider-Verse, it worked great. It was perfect for its own thing. I think that was way too much humor for Solo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Solo had just enough humor.
it has to be treated completely differently. Yeah.
And like improv and like stuff like that. I feel like that would have taken it a little way too far.
Yeah,
way too far.
I was really low on Solo before it came out because I thought like we see Han Solo get redeemed in the original trilogy, so he's just going to be an asshole, was what I thought going into it.
Yeah.
So I was surprised to have that subverted, that he was not just an asshole.
Yeah.
But yeah, if he was just wisecracking and hilarious the whole time, or anyone in that movie was, it would have been weird.
I think so too. Yeah. I think it was just interesting because obviously that was like the big drama for Solo, and then they end up doing Spider-Verse right after, and it was amazing. So I just wanted to know your thoughts on that.
Spider-Verse was great, man. That's all I'm saying.
I
I have no issues with it, and that's crazy for me to say. I just had the expectations were like perfect, and I don't think anyone can sit there and say something's perfect. Which here we go. You gonna say it? You gonna say it?
I would agree. I think it is the
I ain't saying shit.
best movie I have seen in years. My favorite superhero movie, bar none.
Ooh, that's bold, man.
It's hard for me to say.
Is
'cause
another
it's a,
superhero movie perfect?
it's a
No,
totally
no.
different style of movie, and I also don't think that Spider-Verse couldn't exist without there being 6 other Spider-Man movies, and
let
some
me-
of them being bad. You know what I mean?
Let me say this, and this is just a personal preference. I loved it. It was basically perfect for what it was. But do I prefer like a more of a live action? Of course. I want to
I
see
agree.
actual
I agree 100%.
people acting. But with that said, it was great. So I have nothing against it. But I do think there could be like Logan. I would actually prefer Logan over this.
I think it's a reasonable stance, but I think that's totally fair. I still think that the fact that it's someone who has sort of a bias against animation can still love it that much still just says a lot about it.
I agree too. Yeah, I know you were balls deep in like some of the Red Hood DC films and stuff like that. I've really never watched any of those, so I was kind of iffy going in that it was animated, and it came out really loving it.
And they didn't overdo the comic book thing. Like in a lot of the action scenes, they would like put a little little blurb there, or when
Oh,
at the
yeah.
beginning, when he was talking to himself, that stuff was coming
That
up.
was actually some of the coolest stuff in 3D.
It was really cool.
I really liked that, but they didn't. That the fact that they didn't overdo it, like every scene, it was all over the fucking screen.
Yeah, it was just
I'm happy
tastefully
with that.
done, yeah.
It was
Flip.
tastefully done.
And
when he
Flip.
becomes Spider-Man, it becomes a comic book. It's very cool.
The whole
Wait,
scene.
what?
So like as Miles Morales becomes Spider-Man, that's the first time you start seeing those like text bubbles pop up of his thoughts.
Oh, yeah.
and it's like minds racing like that. That has been it becomes. And I think that was very neat.
That's cool.
Effect.
It's cool. Also, the fact that his spider thing is like spray painted graffiti.
Oh, yeah, that's-
is the most legit thing I've ever seen.
Looks so
His
dope.
art and everything. Is
But
really
also
cool,
just his suit. The black suit is fucking
Oh, yeah.
awesome, man.
Dude.
I prefer one with a cape though.
People don't do this because people were terrible on Twitter about this, but I hope that is added to the Spider-Man game. I don't think it will. I don't think you're going to add any more stuff to the Spider-Man game. People complained and they added the suit from the Tobey Maguire movies, and it was annoying. But if people in a very nicely
Why was
asked
it
them
annoying?
to add, people were like, oh, you didn't add this suit. When they revealed them, and then like a couple days later they added it to the game because
People
people
are
complained, which means they were probably going to add it anyway.
Yeah,
There's no
yeah,
way they
yeah.
made it in 2 days.
Right. Yeah.
But it was gross. People who like games are gross sometimes.
Yeah.
No, it's interesting that
People
you.
who like games are gross most of the time. People who like Star Wars are gross all of the time.
I'm gonna say people who hang out on Twitter are the worst, and maybe that's the
The
common
dregs of
problem.
society.
That's
Yes.
I don't even have Twitter in my shit because all it is people shit talking.
No,
I unfollowed and muted most of everybody that sucks. So our Twitter feed is usually just awesome Star Wars info.
it's a good place for news too.
Do we have art?
I do, but I went to the store and I didn't have any frames that were there that were small enough for it. So I don't have it framed and put up yet. I
Okay.
did get some badass art from Kigo as part of our Commonwealth gift exchange for Christmas. I just got it because it was from Australia and it got sent to my old address and blah, blah, blah. But I don't have it framed yet. So I was trying to get it done in time, but I didn't. So next week. No, not next week. Next week. Sorry.
I'm sad I haven't seen this.
I haven't seen it either.
Yeah,
It's right out there on the table. I'll show you.
Okay.
Outside on the table.
We're
It's all- it's all
outside,
there.
remember?
It's all there.
It's behind the green screen.
Behind the green screen on the table. Yes, sorry. Yeah, so Spider-Verse, yes, good.
Excellent. Yeah, 100% go see it if you haven't.
Off the Spider-Man thing, have you seen the trailer for Far From Home?
Yes, I have.
Yes.
Not hyped for it, but definitely I'm gonna see it.
all the Marvel films are fine. They're all fine.
They're
That's
all
the worst
fine.
they've been. Is that it's fine, and some of them are good. Some of them are fine.
It's a very good point. Worst they've been is fine,
It's a really good point.
except for like Iron Man 3.
Yeah, Iron Man 3 is the worst of them, I think.
The worst the Star Wars movies have been is good. But there's only been 5. So, 4, sorry.
There's more than 4 Star Wars films there.
I'm
but-
talking about the new ones, you goddamn. Yes, but I
I'd agree
see
with
what
that.
you mean, yeah.
Well, I mean that's completely a point of view because I guarantee you there's people. Well, obviously,
you really think there's some people that don't like some of the new Star Wars
Well,
films?
it's
Wait a second. Are you saying what I think you're saying?
yeah.
Guys,
Luke Skywalker's a bitch,
breaking news.
punk, dirty bitch.
Punk bearded fuck. Sorry.
No, he doesn't have a beard.
He does in the new one that I hate.
Oh yeah, he's right.
Spider-Man, I'm low-key hyped because I've always liked Spider-Man, but I was never so balls deep in the comics that I know about Mysterio. I don't really know his background. I don't know much about Doc Ock. I don't know all that stuff. So the fact that we have a brand new villain that I've never seen and has never been on screen, I'm really hyped for. Also, my biggest curiosity is this is taking place after Endgame, and we know that Spider-Man melted away into dust. So what's gonna happen in the meantime
Multiverse.
of these two things?
They already set up multiverse.
Spider-Verse started the multiverse.
Can you
I think
imagine?
people have been complaining about that, and I think that is one of the most absurd things.
Complaining about what?
That they're like, oh, you've spoiled Infinity War Endgame, and it's like, oh, did you think that every one of the characters from their movie was going to be dead?
Did you
Because I
think that they would like get Spider-Man back from Sony and put him in one movie? Two
Yeah.
movies, sorry.
or like Black Panther is gonna die 8 months after he breaks like a bunch of box office records?
Yeah, exactly.
I think that I mean, I don't think it's even a stretch. I think all the people whose contracts are coming up are going to die in the next film, and all the people who died are going to come back to life. And I don't think that's a very, I don't think that's a very ambitious guess.
So
Yeah.
are we saying they're going to recast?
No, I think that Iron
No.
Man's gonna die, Captain America's gonna die, and in replace, you're gonna get a new Captain America. You're gonna get a new person, maybe not actually a new Iron Man, a new person taking that role.
Like a new superhero taking that role.
Yeah.
So,
And then you got Spider-Man and Black Panther kind of leading things.
And then we will literally get a new Captain America, either from the Winter Soldier or Falcon.
Oh yeah.
Doctor Strange dies though, right?
Yep.
See, I wish.
I don't think so, because Doctor Strange is like a
he
MacGuffin, but like a powerful MacGuffin.
In Infinity War, he died.
Yeah.
But I
We
don't,
don't
think
know
will
if he
stay
stays
dead.
dead. He has
That
Doctor.
Doctor
He already
Strange.
has a second movie.
That Doctor Strange died. That's why we're talking about this
did he-
multiverse thing, where I think. See, okay, this is going to be the thing.
I hope they don't introduce that.
I think somehow this universe is going to be reset, and there's going to be one person to travel to make it happen. However, whatever,
hope
which way
doesn't-
they
I
want to
hope that
do
doesn't
it.
happen.
Because let's picture this. Somehow, Doctor Strange, because I figure he probably would have the power to do it somehow.
Ant-Man's going to be the key.
Ant-Man's, well, he is. But I don't think he's going to live through it. I think he's going to be the key, but it's going to send someone else through. He's going to like go molecular with another person.
So Travis in the chat says that's how they get mutants in MCU. My far and away, like, would the only thing they can do that I think would make it amazing is if they have Scarlet Witch somehow get like the reality gem. They have Scarlet Witch change all of reality, because that's actually, like, in the comic books, Scarlet Witch is one of the most powerful mutants, and
Well,
she
she looks
literally
like it, yeah.
erases almost every mutant from existence because she wishes it.
Jesus.
It's a thing called House of M. And then I think they could they could make it so that she brings them back, and like make it so they retcon it, so at some point they existed, they disappeared, and now they're back, or she just makes it so people are, I don't know, but somehow they're gonna bring mutants in, and I think using Scarlet Witch would be a nice nod to that.
Maybe they do the same thing, but instead of with the Reality Stone and Scarlet Witch, they do it with Doctor Strange and the Time Stone, because he seems very tied to that. Well, clearly, and Scarlet Witch wasn't tied to anything.
Or
really.
5 people
he
each
doesn't
get
have it
one
anymore.
stone, and together they do something that.
Like the future power friends.
Wasn't the gauntlet destroyed after we used it? I can't remember.
Oh,
I can't remember. I feel like it maybe.
I don't think so. They set it on like an end table at the end. Remember on the beach?
Didn't even lock it up. Just threw it on the tiki hut by the margaritas. Just kidding.
How? Okay.
Wait, one thing. I do think they will bring in the mutants in the Fantastic Four. I don't think it might happen this year, maybe not even next year, but I think they will definitely bring them in.
I feel like the Avengers End War end credit scene has to involve a mutant that
That would be
was
cool.
not previously in it, but used to be owned by Fox.
That would be cool.
And that would like retcon everything. Why the mutants were in the ones before, because they weren't created until this universe was.
That trips me out. If they do that, I'm sure they'll do it the right way. But as of now, I'm like, I don't want a multiple universe.
What if we see a
nonsense in that.
lightsaber?
What do you say?
What if you see a lightsaber?
That'd be cool. This is our bridge from the Marvel universe to the Star Wars universe. But if you think they've taken 10 years to build up the key characters of like Cap and Iron Man, if they're going to die, like we're not going to have brand new characters that are leading the charge right away. Like I feel like there's another 10-year storyline that's going to progress, and mutants and the Fantastic Four are part of that. And Spider-Man, obviously.
What if?
What
'cause,
if?
Travis Dunn just said Logan? What if somehow? See, I'm still kind of stuck on this. There's got to be a tie. Someone's got to spark the multiverse.
I don't think it'll be multiple. I think literally someone will change reality.
Well, to me, that's a multiverse.
No.
I know it's not, but there's more than one realities.
To me, it's this. It isn't, but it is to me.
It's dependent from a certain point of view.
No, I understand. I just think it's so confusing. I'm just kind of waiting for them. I'm waiting to see Endgame. I'm sure they'll do it right. It's just, it hurts my brain to think about.
What if they do it wrong?
Because Spider-Verse was like silly enough, and it was a cartoon. I was like, okay, cool, I can accept that. But in Endgame, after half the people in the universe are dead, like they have to really, really blow it out of the park for that to make sense, and like accept that Spider-Man can come back from the dead. It's just, I don't know what to expect at all. It's gonna be weird.
This might be. You all don't read Marvel comics very much.
No.
No, not a comic guy.
One of the weird things about Thanos in the Marvel comics is that he's always talking to a weird personification of death who's a little girl.
I've heard that. Yeah.
I think she takes some other forms, but mostly she's a little girl. I feel like he's got to end up talking to Death. He's like, did I impress you or something? Like, I don't know. He's got a weird
Lady Death.
thing for the concept and personification of death.
Yeah.
And it could just be you end up getting the Eternals, who are like the MacGuffin gods of the Marvel universe, just like change things.
Well, aren't the Watchers going to show up at some point too?
The Watchers were in at least one end credit scene.
That's what I mean. Like, aren't they going to pop up?
Their thing is supposed to be they don't do anything, but then sometimes they do. I think the Eternals are more likely to come and actually change something, and they are similarly powerful.
It's the best thing I've ever heard.
I hope I hope they keep it out of the clouds, per se.
They already haven't.
Well,
You got an interdimensional purple Titan that destroyed half the universe.
but he still can die. Like there's not an over controlling person.
We're beyond reality now. They're bringing people back from the dead. So who knows what the fuck's gonna happen?
They're not yet, are they?
Well, they will. Somehow, Spider-Man's back. It's gonna be crazy.
What was that? Was that your point, that because they're making these other Spider-Man movies, that like, why can't this second Spider-Man film with Tom Holland be before the last Avengers? That doesn't.
It could, but we already know that it's not.
Oh, that's your point.
Like it's not. It's after Endgame. It comes after Endgame. Even though Spider-Man died in Infinity War, so he has to come back at some point. So the mystery is how they're going to do that shit in Endgame.
Yeah, something we're not including is that Miss Marvel will be there, and she will be a key part of
Captain
this.
Marvel.
Captain Marvel, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Captain Marvel is first, and then Endgame, and then Spider-Man. Wait, isn't there a fourth this year too?
Not that I'm aware of.
Fourth Marvel?
I thought there was a fourth one this year.
And Captain Marvel's a cool character. I like Captain Marvel a lot. I'm excited to see that movie.
Shazam.
That's DC.
Shazam is actually the DC movie. The first time I've been interested in seeing a DC movie in a long time. I think Shazam's a fun character, and I like the guy who plays Chuck.
Oh, Dark Phoenix is the other one.
I do not think that will be good.
I
But
still haven't seen any of those yet.
Did you see the Men in Black full trailer?
I didn't see it, but I know that when it was originally announced, that was announced as a crossover with 21 Jump Street films, and I don't know if it's still that.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
I hope not.
It was at the beginning of Spider-Verse for me. They did a whole big trailer.
Oh, yeah.
I might have seen that too the second time I saw it.
It was I mean, come on. It's Men in Black. It's been overdone. Even though it's very simple. There's not really too many places you can go with it.
Did you see Aquaman?
I haven't yet. No.
Damn it. Right.
We can talk about it. I don't really care.
I don't have anything to say until I can get somebody else's reaction for it.
You need me to find your opinion?
Like, I didn't love it that much that I'm bursting to explain it. I just I want somebody else's reaction to see if I'm wrong or not.
Did you like Wonder Woman?
I did.
Above or below Wonder Woman?
Below.
Okay. Wonder Woman's the only one I think they've made that's good so far. So,
Batman vs Superman.
I disagree. I like Batman vs Superman a lot. I think it's one of the best superhero movies ever. And I have no problem dying on a hill for that opinion.
I was pretty drunk watching that, and I don't super remember it, but
I don't know. Opinions are weird. Psychology is weird. I literally don't know how you can watch BVS and think it's bad. I don't get it.
It was exciting.
It was dark. It was brutal. It was exciting.
I think I
It was
looked at
brutal.
my phone through most of it, and that's not a great indication of a film.
It is a long film.
I love it.
Better
though.
than Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Everything's better than Suicide Squad.
I think I watched them back-to-back nights though, so it did.
I literally don't understand the hate of BVS. I don't get it at all. All because dude said Martha kind of awkward. Like, does that ruin a movie for you?
But it's like not too far of a stretch. Like the fact that
It's not a stretch at all.
It's the fact that Martha, the name, triggered something for Bruce Wayne. You're like, even though he yelled it weird, you're like, wait, that's what Bruce Wayne is.
The fact
his
that
dead parents.
a man bent on vengeance and a god bent on helping people can come together because of their mothers who they love. I think that storyline is great. He just said it kind of like a fucking dickhead.
Martha!
But does that ruin the whole movie for you? Just the way he delivered that line? Like, really?
There's a lot in there. I think the great outweighs the
95% to 5%. I think.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it's fucking amazing.
Getting through Ahsoka.
Look at these guys. You guys are fucked, man. You guys are. I'm just saying, you're wrong.
I will admit the Martha thing didn't bother me, but I do think the weird CG face because of his mustache is noticeable at times.
That was Justice League.
Oh, that was Justice League. Okay.
Yeah.
I watched all of those in the same
Justice
week.
League was, having watched BVS and loving it, having rewatched Watchmen, which I just did, both Zack Snyder. I think if Zack Snyder had done and finished Justice League, like people want the Snyder cut, I think it would have been great. The fact that it was split halfway through and finished by Joss Whedon, who did the Avengers. I'm just like, if there's issues with it, that's definitely why.
Yeah. I don't know.
Padilla said he fell asleep with 15 minutes into Batman vs Superman 3 times. Well, bro, you didn't see the movie then.
Yeah, that's very true. Stop getting hammered before you do it. Step 1, don't.
I don't know. I'm gonna still say that is why I enjoyed all of the having a 40 is why I enjoyed all of the DC films at all.
Man, except
Except for Wonder Woman, I saw that in theaters.
I'm gonna say something that our patrons are gonna get really mad about.
Okay, do it. I wanted to see it.
And it's gonna be real. And I still love you guys, but what you're saying, the complaints that you guys are saying right now about BVS sound like people that hate The Last Jedi's complaints about The Last Jedi.
But
Rose, yeah, she's a little bit annoying. Okay, it's still a great movie. Like, what do you have to say? Martha sounded annoying. Still a great movie. I don't know what else there is to say.
we're not here to change opinions.
So just putting that out there.
And I think I think you might not be entirely wrong, partly because I think a lot of people don't like The Last Jedi is because of the way they already felt about Luke from other things, like the books and stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's true. Part of the reason people don't like that is because Batman vs. Superman was done better in comics, and more interestingly, is they're comparing it to that, and they're like, well, it's not because of the comics.
Yeah, the comparison thing really kills you going into a movie in the first place. I think that's why I enjoy the MCU so much. I've never read comics. I've loved everything. I'm getting these characters fresh for the most part for the first time. And I'm digging the entire ride. I have no issues with it at all.
It does seem like a better way to enjoy them. I can't divorce myself from having read many comics as a high schooler.
Comparison will kill you, man.
Well, it's like if you really, let's just say you really like a book, really one of your favorites, and they're going to make a movie about it. Impossible to live up. If it's truly that high on your list, the smallest little thing that didn't happen in a book. Who's that guy?
Yeah.
Worst thing ever. It's never going to live up. And that's a preconception you go into.
Right.
Will I allow this movie to be better than what I know?
Yeah, is Harry Potter 6 bad just because it's not as good as the book?
Harry Potter 5 is bad because they didn't have Voldemort and Dumbledore's fight be good. And that is good in the book.
I thought it was good.
I don't know. My favorite part of that fight is that Dumbledore brings a bunch of statues to life, and they show the statues in the film, and he doesn't bring them to life, and that made me angry.
Oh, damn. I haven't read that one in a while.
I think that's one of the coolest scenes in the entire Harry Potter series, and how bad that is in the film makes me sad.
Yeah.
Detective Pikachu.
I think this looks kind of awesome.
I'll see it.
I'm just going through this. As I was walking out of Spider-Verse, I was looking at the walls of all the posters, and there's just so much shit.
There's a lot, yeah.
So much shit coming out.
I'm glad to be over this giant wave of holiday stuff because not only do you have the holiday season, but there's so many games came out, all the new movies came out, all the new trailers and shit came out. It's nice to kind of settle a little bit and chill.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
It's like overwhelm.
It is awkwardly nice to take a break from Star Wars because last year there was so much that came out too. I mean, we got
take a break so we can prep because 2019 is going to be jam packed with Star Wars stuff.
Yeah.
I kind of wish they had originally gone every other year a movie.
They did set
with
their
the saga.
Well, true, but they did set themselves up for some great expectations, and the fact that they're a year and a half away from Solo is when 9 comes out. It feels like a stretch, and you're like, "What the fuck, guys?"
It's half as long as it used to feel.
I know, I agree, and I know, but that's not what we're used to now for the past 5 years.
So I must hate it. It's not what I expected.
I won't like the movie unless R2D2 dies.
I kind of disagree with the person in the chat that they didn't like. They said they kind of didn't like or love Last Jedi, and the director was the problem. I think the Last Jedi was great because of the director, and I'm a little hesitant that J.J. Abrams taking 9 back, and he's gonna be like, no, she's a Skywalker.
No, I don't think he'll do that.
I don't think he will, but I'm a little worried he's gonna be like, I made this mystery.
But I think they worked together for the whole thing.
Yeah, have you heard like the info about JJ and?
Yeah, I haven't heard this.
So yeah, I mean the script for 8 was done before Force Awakens even came out. So like JJ knew what was happening in The Last Jedi before his movie even premiered. So there wasn't anything like Ryan reacted to what came out in the movie or changed things or whatever. They were kind of working pretty closely in the background the whole time. So it's not like there's a surprise on either of their parts.
Well, that's good.
So.
I like J.J. Abrams movies for the most part. Love Lost.
Love Lost.
I think Lost phenomenal. Yeah.
You love Lost too. I haven't seen it.
I like it. Lost the series?
Yes.
Yeah.
Jesus, did that shit drag on, but I kept watching. When they start going into
Just
like
like
that
Star Wars.
multiverse area where like they're alive but they're not, but this is kind of what happens,
Yeah,
but it's
the
not
flash
really.
sideways
Oh,
are
you're-
very confusing.
Oh yeah, you don't even know what's happening or why it's
That
happening.
just made me not want to see
and
it.
then it's like, it seems like things are doing in one are affecting the other, and then it's like, actually, no, it's not.
The whole
and that is a little annoying.
Every season's a build up to want something. Like they'll hint it, and then throughout the season, it's like that's the issue, and then they'll find the issue, and it's nothing. But then a bit larger issue happens, and then it just builds and builds, and then it just at the end's like, none of this is real. This is all fun, right?
So that's why I think that J.J. Abrams' strength is setting up a mystery, and his weakness is
Finishing it.
satisfying the result of that mystery. And that's why I
I
think
could
they
see
did
that.
so well in episode 8 of taking some of those mysteries, subverting expectations, and doing something interesting, and something that I think sets up Star Wars to be not a bunch of trilogies. Like Star Wars is gonna have to break free of trilogies. I think like if
I
it's gonna
agree.
be a thing that's annual or even biannual.
Completely agree.
I get.
They need to start doing, well, even like the Marvel formula, where don't say we have to do a trilogy. Do one movie, have an ending, like just like the Iron Mans. I don't care how people like them. They did one movie, and like, all right, keep going. Like it doesn't have to be 3. It doesn't have to be 2.
I disagree with that because they did have a 10-year plan laid out from start to finish.
But I'm saying, like, if Iron Man 1 sucked, do you think they're gonna make Iron Man 2?
I
No.
think
They're altering the deal. Fuck that.
I don't know. I think they committed. Incredible Hulk sucked, but they kept going, and now we have Infinity War.
Wait, they didn't make a second Hulk, did they?
No,
I
but
think
I'm saying Hulk itself sucked, but they didn't cancel the MCU because Hulk sucked.
Yeah, but I think they went back and sort of added that in. I don't think they had that 10-year plan before Hulk came out. I think that they made that 10-year plan after Iron Man 1.
I don't know if that's true.
I don't know for sure.
I'll need a
but
comic person
definitely
to
no one
confirm.
cared about MCU until Iron Man 1 came out.
I feel like when they came out of the gate, they had phase 1, 2, and 3. Like, here's the fucking movies for the next 4 years.
I could be wrong. I didn't think that came out until after Iron Man 1 was a huge hit.
Well, it takes so long to make a movie. Like as they're premiering Iron Man 1, I'm sure Iron Man 2 was already in the works. But I think if it fell on its face, they would have just scratched it and then changed.
I don't know.
Just saying.
I don't know. I'm a big fan of like developing a plan like that, committing to it, and sticking to the long term. Like if Iron Man, if it was kind of rocky at first, but they know by the time they get to Infinity War, they're gonna have this epic culmination. They stick with it, and if it sucked, they make the movies better, but they don't just scrap the entire project based on one thing. That's my opinion.
I think if it's
That's
almost
where-
like people like Star Wars because it is built like that. We have a trilogy, we have a beginning, middle, and end, and that's all. I mean, books are built that way, but I think it would really unlock things. I think they're really they have something with these side stories, whatever they're fucking calling them, the single standalones. The standalone films,
Anthology
solo
movies, yeah.
I feel like they do have something there, and it even leaves the door open. If Rogue One like killed it, like everybody loved it, and I'm not saying everybody didn't, but if it was just one of the blockbusters of everything, I wouldn't even I wouldn't second guess them making another one, or like okay, let's have another movie that butts up right against that, which is Episode 4. But you know what I'm saying?
No, they knew from the day one that Rogue One ended with Episode 4. There's no sequel to Rogue One.
You're missing my point. If they made standalones, I'm saying they could potentially do several standalones that are the same characters.
Oh, I see what you mean.
And I think you do, and I think it makes sense. You do a trilogy of trilogies, I think is what makes the most sense for the way that Star Wars originally conceived is so heavily tied to the hero's journey. It's so highly Campbellian in its story structure that you have to sort of use that to wrap it up, and at the same time stop doing that to open it up to be the thing that Disney wants it to be, which is a thing that is all the time, everywhere, and makes money, and people don't hate them for whatever.
And I'm very happy for that. I appreciate Star Wars' origins, and I don't want it to be a hero's journey trilogy every single time. I'm very happy that they have the option to open it up like Marvel and do a lot more with it. Now the streaming service is going to crack it open even further.
Yeah, presumably at some point they're going to do a TV show.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 2 of them. The Mandalorian. Are you updated on the news?
Not particular, not the what their Disney is doing outside of the movies.
The Mandalorian. focused on a Mandalorian, obviously a couple years after Return of the Jedi. So the first, the fuck word am I looking for? The first live action thing that we're going to get between 6 and 7. And then we have a Cassian Andor spin-off series, which is
From Rogue One.
a prequel to Rogue One, but it's more about like the rebellion.
Which character's Andor?
The
main guy,
what's the guy's name?
K2SO's counterpart.
Diego Luna is the actor's name.
Okay.
From
Yeah.
Rogue One.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So it's more about spy and espionage in the early days of the rebellion, which sounds fucking sweet.
Yeah, I like that stuff. Yeah, I think the spy stuff and is some of the best of the stuff in Star Wars.
Yeah.
And back when the rebels were underdogs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which was when? Tell me when the rebels were ever underdogs, because they always seem to come out on top.
Well, they're always underdogs, but they always win anyways. And they remain underdogs, and then they keep winning.
Yeah, they're like the goddamn Patriots.
Back when you looked at their base and you went, oh, I mean, these guys don't have a lot going for them.
It's so weird that everything works out. It's the will of the fools.
Travis Dunn is asking about the backstory that fans have been wanting. Is it gonna happen after 9? Things like Snoke explanations, Knights of Ren stuff.
Could you imagine them putting that in there? Like, we all want to know, what's the Knights of Ren? Where
Right.
is that going? Could you imagine they put that in there simply to not vet it out in the trilogy, but have a standalone about the Knights of Ren?
That'd be dope.
Holy shit.
I would be way more interested in that than it being a critical part of that trilogy.
Yes.
But you could like build Kylo Ren as a character through a standalone that's not about him. That's blowing my mind right now. Like, it could be about the Knights of Ren, which he becomes a part of and then almost leaves to do the dark side thing.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, whichever way they want to do it, but it could be really interesting.
Do you think
many
we see
options,
Darth Maul again
So
in a
many
live
options.
action Star Wars film?
Get it out of here, no.
Get it out of here. No. If they do not a solo sequel, but another something in that era, I think yes.
Do you think you'll have robot spider legs?
No, he'll be modeled after what he was in Rebels.
Didn't he have robot spider legs at some point in Rebels? I didn't watch all of it because I had trouble streaming.
That
it.
was Clone Wars.
Clone
Oh,
Wars.
okay.
When he first came back, he had the ridiculous legs, and then he had slightly less ridiculous legs, and then finally in Rebels, when he shows up, he just has normal looking legs.
Gotcha. Okay, that.
Well, they're robotic, but they look like legs.
Right.
Yeah. He could, I mean, as a standalone, they could do a pre-episode 1 Maul
That's
thing, so
true.
he could be all together.
Nah.
I don't actually care about anything before episode 1 though, personally.
Plagueis, awesome.
Oh.
Maul would be interesting depending on how they play it.
In the prequels, we see the downfall of the Jedi. I would love to see some political thriller shit that leads up to and sets the stage for the Jedi collapsing. I think that'd be dope.
I could see that being like a mini series.
I'll never get a House of Cards Coruscant show, but I would fucking love it. That would be so sweet.
I could do that 6 to 8 episodes. You could do something pretty cool with that.
That'd be so fucking sweet. I'd be all about it.
What would be your next standalone film?
Standalone film?
If you could have one character or one timeline.
Good question.
Ewoks, obviously,
Guaranteed.
on Tatooine.
Yes.
Because why not?
Yeah. They'll adapt.
They'll adapt.
All of them will die.
They'll just shed all their fur after. Just
Oh
be
God, they're so
naked
ugly after.
rats with those eyeballs. You know how terrifying that would be. I honestly, at this point, just because I hinted at it, I would love a side thing. If they're not going to actually vet the Knights of Ren out, if I'm staying in sequels, I would love the Knights of Ren. And they could hint a little bit about how Snoke pulls them, or is Snoke the leader of the Knights of Ren? But even Snoke mentions to Kylo, "You are the master of the Knights of Ren."
You're saying a standalone movie, not a standalone series.
Yeah, just something that's not in a trilogy.
Yeah, I agree with Mike in chat. I think if they somehow take the Old Republic and they do that, I don't know how you do that in one movie, but it's not going to be cool because I won't spoil the twist for people, but like there is a big twist in that kind of makes those.
Oh,
games?
with Revan? Yeah. Well, we've spoiled it.
Okay, well, like I don't know how that is a satisfying movie knowing that going in. The same issue we talked about before with some of the knowing comics, but
It wouldn't be, but Old Republic's era something would be awesome.
yeah, definitely. I think we see some old Jedi doing old cool Jedi stuff. I want to see more Force. And I think that it seemed to be clearly that is what the Force Awakening will probably lead to. But I want to see more people doing cool stuff with the Force. Maybe even new stuff with the Force.
If I had a wish with no parameters, I would say, for my standalone movie, I would say Luke rebuilding the Jedi Order after 6. I don't know if they would make a live action thing about that, just because Mark Hamill's obviously old now, but that would be my wish. Not that I even love Luke that much. I'm just so interested in what we have with the prequels, and then how Luke acts in Return of the Jedi versus how Luke is talking in TLJ. I think there's a transition there that would be really interesting to see.
Yeah.
You know,
leading up to him trying to kill Kylo.
What are those? Is it from
certain point of view?
The Old Republic online game where they have all those really cool small story lines that they do those animation or
that game has surprisingly good writing.
Holy shit. And it doesn't even have to, you don't even have to put a timeline on it. There's one that they find a girl or something and she's force sensitive and it goes like awry and she gets really mad.
That one's insane.
She gets really mad at her teacher and it just goes, oh.
Yeah, that one's insane.
The fact that she goes crazy and like, I think she ends up killing her teacher.
I think so.
But at that young of an age, it's awesome. And then the two brothers that like clearly one's a little edgy and the other one's like pure, but they still fight together. So there's some sense of control. Are you fucking kidding me?
I just really forgot for a few months about Rian Johnson has an entire trilogy. The Game of Thrones people have an entire trilogy coming out.
Really?
Yeah, what the hell are they going to be about, man?
That.
Yeah. Yeah, we haven't heard much about it because they're obviously waiting for Game of Thrones to finish. They said as soon as season 8 premieres, they're going right to Star Wars stuff.
3, they could do a Bane trilogy so easily. There's already a Bane trilogy and they're just in novelizations.
I'm really iffy about them making a movie version of a novel, though.
I agree.
I think they'll take characters, but I hope they don't just lift a story.
Yeah, I agree. I'm iffy about that.
It's hard to have Revan in anything without Revan's redemption.
I'm okay without having a Revan movie.
I'm okay too. But it would be cool.
We've had a game and a lot of stuff. A Bane movie I could understand.
We're just so hard tied to this original trilogy timeline. I'd love to just blow it apart. And now that everything's uncanonized, who gives a fuck? Go 500 years in the past and make this psychotic witch Sith lady.
Witch
like
doctor.
Who cares?
I care.
She can have a whip instead of.
I care.
She could be.
Oh, I want to see someone with like non-standard lightsabers. Like everyone in the films have, except one guy has a double-bladed one. Like I want to see lightsaber spears. I want to see lightsaber whips. I want to see all those sorts of weird lightsabers.
They won't do it.
We were talking about how Rey has her staff. What if they?
Yes, I thought that was going to happen in
like
episode 8.
Fucking staff saber.
I really hope she does that.
Well, we were thinking it's prime now that the saber's broken in half. We see the crystal. She's going to rebuild it and hopefully use her staff. That'd be sweet.
Yeah, I think that would be perfection. Side note, my Jedi Outcast character, halfway through you get to pick single-bladed, 2 single blades, or they don't even call it a double-bladed lightsaber. They call it a staff lightsaber. And I thought when they showed it, it showed just the really long, like, 2 hands and then the saber. It ended up being a double-bladed lightsaber because you can have, in the middle of a battle, ignite both ends. So you could be fighting with just the staff part and then just blow out the other one, and then it changes your entire attack style. But you couldn't lightsaber throw the double, so you'd have to sheath one part and then throw it. So they just perfected the lightsaber battles in that game.
You know, the one novel
I just miss them blowing things out with customization.
The one novel I could see them just adapting and being pretty cool, although it is not something I expect them to do, is the one about the guy who owns Jabba's monster in the pit. I can't remember either.
The Rancor.
Yeah, the Rancor keeper. A story about him like getting and then becoming friends with the Rancor. That is a novel out there. That is a highly
like a Boy and His Dog movie about him and the Rancor.
It's like a How to Train Your Rancor movie.
I didn't think those movies were going to be good, and they were.
Just How to Train Your Rancor. How many titles is this episode going to have?
I'm putting that on there. I'll pick later.
Yeah, there's so many opportunities. What outside of Star Wars? I mean, obviously you're a big comic book fan, but I mean, out of the, let's just call it like nerd realm, is there any other stuff that you get into? Any scary movies or anything?
Not a big scary movie guy.
I've really been wanting to watch a scary movie.
I am kind of a podcast nerd in that I spend, I don't know, 3 hours a day, I would say, on average, at least listening to podcasts. And I am just sort of really into, I went back and started a bunch of podcasts that started in like 2008, 2010 that I listened to once, had them on this one giant like 2,000 episode playlist. And I'm listening to My Brother and Me and Jordan Jesse Go and Stop Podcasting Yourself in the Flophouse again. And that's a lot of fun. It's just a bunch of white guys sitting in a room being funny.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, and but they're all, I like them all, and I'm really into that.
Okay.
And then I sort of listen to those while I play with my dog and watch games, or play with my dog and play games.
Watch a dog and play podcasts and listen to games.
I play the dog, then listen to the games.
Shit, I'm doing it all wrong.
I'm doing it all wrong. Touche, motherfuckers. Oh man, I haven't been doing shit. Oh, I actually saw Tommy Boy's theater shit, or his play that he's been doing.
Rock of Ages.
Yeah, that was interesting.
It was good.
I was hoping to see a titty flop out, but
Damn.
don't get everything you want. They get borderline. I mean, there's like some strip scenes up on stage.
Yeah, it was racy.
It was racy, but I was actually impressed by the talent. The girl's like stripping on stage, like falling off this the pole, but she's still singing and hitting her notes. I was like, Jesus, swinging around upside down. She's like, yeah, like what is happening?
Yeah, it was crazy. It was good stuff. Music was good too.
Well, they pull a lot of like old rock and roll, but it was like clearly
not old rock and roll. It's hair metal.
80s rock and roll. That's classic rock now.
What?
Remember,
it's hair metal.
Enter Sandman's on classic rock stuff now. Just think about that.
Oh,
and
yeah,
that's
that's true.
1992 or 91.
90, I think. It's 30 years old. Almost.
91 was when it came out.
I mean, I bet you could hear Nirvana on a classic rock station at this point.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Man, Justice, 30 years old. Fuck.
Yeah, and Justice for All. There was one last thing. Oh, the lead singer in the show. Did he do that long note at the end?
Yeah.
That was for, at least for us. I don't know if it was for you guys. That was the longest note I've ever heard.
Yeah, it was insane.
He just kept going and kept going,
and then finale.
And then everybody applauds, and then it stopped, and we stopped clapping, and he was still fucking going, and then he fucking like shimmered out at the end, and then he kept going, and you're like, this guy is Jesus. Like, what is happening? I was really impressed by that.
I love just seeing a good performance. I love just seeing people that are experts at their craft doing something amazing like that.
Yeah.
Whether it's like a concert or a musical or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't think the
Comedy.
story. I think the story was that strong, but the talent was definitely there at the show.
Yeah. He mentioned that's a particular type of musical where, as opposed to writing it from scratch, they take a bunch of already popular songs and make a story around it.
Jukebox musical, I think.
Yeah, and that's probably why. Like, there's an Elvis musical, like with a bunch of Elvis tunes that they just created like some love story around.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, from what I've seen, they're never like as powerful as something that's written.
Yeah, that makes
for
sense.
what it is.
I like Across the Universe, the Beatles one.
I haven't seen that one.
It's fun.
I don't like the Beatles.
Is that a movie? No.
I think it's a movie from like 2007, something like that.
Yeah.
Wait,
It came out when we were in
like,
college.
Yeah, it came out from like 2007 or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Collage.
Collage.
I don't like the Beatles.
I do.
People get pissed.
I like the Beatles. I don't
understand why you wouldn't like the Beatles, but I'm not mad at you.
Thank you.
I do think they're overrated.
Yes.
But I mean, you saw. I appreciate them. For them to be one of the first to really blow it open like that and like blow pop music. I mean, of course it was rock and roll back then, but
we were talking about this with Zale and Kerner about the first isn't always the best, like with episode 4.
Yeah.
I can appreciate it from that respect for sure.
I think it's hard to say they're overrated because you cannot overstate their contribution to music.
Well, it's almost, well, personally, I think Rolling Stones pushed the borders quicker at the same time.
They were two different styles, I feel.
They were, and I agree.
Things like the way they recorded, the way that their music changed so much from album to album. I think they both did a lot.
Yeah, you talk to a audio engineer that likes the Beatles, he will not shut up. He will talk about the Beatles and Abbey Road and Brian Epstein and all these fucks for 12 hours straight.
Yeah, I get it. I think they're the one thing that I don't think anyone could take away from them is their songwriting. Like, I don't care if you enjoy the music or can listen to them over and over, but some of their songs, man, it's just...
I care about that octopus, and Ringo wrote a lot of really good songs.
I care about the hammer more.
Oh, Jesus. This reminds me of the Dewey Cox scene where the Beatles just all start fucking fighting each other.
Do it or drop acid, Dewey.
You want to drop acid, Dewey?
Oh, speaking of, I know we talked, this is random, but maybe we can end with something totally, absolutely random. I tweeted something because I was thinking of Dewey Cox, and then somebody posted a GIF from Superbad, and I was like, what are my 5 favorite comedies? I'm just going to think about this really quick. I put Superbad, Walk Hard, Dumb and Dumber, UHF, Wet Hot American Summer in no order whatsoever.
Wet Hot American Summer is a good choice.
I would say those are probably my top 5 comedies.
Same again?
So what are yours? Superbad, Walk Hard, UHF, Wet Hot American Summer, and Dumb and Dumber. And I almost put Wayne's World instead of Dumb and Dumber, but I think Dumb and Dumber.
Oh, yeah. I think Dumb and Dumber throughout is funnier. God, I can't sit here and do that. Pull this shit
Oh,
on my
man,
ass.
it's so
yeah, you
hard.
can.
Superbad's, yeah, obvious.
I feel like ours are the same, except for maybe you don't like Wet Hot American Summer as much.
UHF.
Oh, yeah, just
UHF's up there.
I could be due to watch that. I haven't seen it in a long time.
comedies I like. I found in the DVD copy of UHF in the trunk of my car when I was cleaning it out a few weeks ago.
That's
funny.
amazing.
Beer League.
Yeah.
So there's a really trashy movie. I think
Artie Lang movie.
Artie Lang. Do you know who Artie Lang is?
Yeah.
Back in the day when he wasn't 100% into heroin, he wrote a movie and it was
just
called,
half into heroin.
It was called Beer League, and it was just about him and a bunch of buddies in Jersey, and it's just about them like trying to do shit.
Trying to do shit. That's a great description. They should put that on the fucking
It's
trailer.
kind of what happens, but it's one of the funniest movies I've ever
in the
watched.
90s in New Jersey. 10
Princess
guys
Bride would
tried
probably
to do
make my
shit.
list.
What is it?
Princess Bride would probably make my list.
See, that one goes over my head.
I agree. Yeah. Goes over my
I
head,
might
is what
agree
on.
on Wet Hot American Summer being in the top 5.
Oh, yeah. That shit is hilarious.
I think Dumb and Dumber. I think it's good. Very good. The weird thing is I don't think I would put a Michael Myers movie in there.
Wayne's World was close, man.
Wayne's World is the only one, I would ever consider.
Caddyshack
Yeah.
might be up
hard
there.
to leave that one out.
Caddyshack might be up there, as well as Happy Gilmore. I fucking love Happy Gilmore.
Yeah, see, the Adam Sandler ones, like, I think they were good for their time, but watching them over and over again, like, I feel like I get sick of them.
Happy Gilmore is actually the only, and Kerner's gonna get pissed, the only Adam Sandler film that I can watch over and over. I couldn't sit there and watch Big Daddy over and over. I couldn't watch Everybody Loves Billy Madison. I could not sit there and watch Billy Madison over and over, but Happy Gilmore I could. You're gonna die, clown. Fucking love it.
I really enjoy bringing up Baby.
What is that?
Weird black and white comedy from like the 20s or 30s.
Oh, shit, no.
Yeah, that's a really funny
I am
movie.
not
We
versed
just
in any of
happened
those
to
old
own
movies.
on VHS when I was growing up, so I watched a number of times. It's a very funny movie.
I'm
I
not
don't know if
versed
I'd
in any of that stuff
Put
at
it in
all.
top 5, but that for some reason that just came to my mind.
I like Out Cold a lot, too.
Out Cold is really good.
Ferris Bueller, somebody just said.
Yeah, that's a good one. A lot of his movies, frankly. I would put Breakfast Club in there.
Yeah, like, I feel like it is an age thing. Like, I love those movies, but as far as what I've watched 1,000 times and, like, grown up with, I think the, like, mid-late 90s has a big place.
Yeah, I'm kind of just going through. I of course just searched top comedies of all time. Classics up there that I probably wouldn't put up there: Airplane, Spinal Tap.
One that was there I might put on there is Holy Grail.
Yeah, that just yeah. That's a very specific type of comedy, and I really do like it, but I don't know.
I wouldn't put it as my favorite. I also really like those Spinal Tap movies, all those Christopher Guest films, but I don't think I'd put those on my top 5 either.
Blazing Saddles is really good. Young Frankenstein's a classic. Superbad's actually there too.
Superbad's so
You know what?
good.
I wouldn't put anything else even similar to this, but I would maybe put Jackass 2.
Ooh, that's a
Now
good
we're
point.
now we're getting somewhere.
Yeah.
Now we're getting. Now
Now we're about to walk
the
over to
door
the bar
just
and
opened.
talk
Like,
about
I don't
CKY.
like the show Jackass very much, but darn if I don't think Jackass 2 is weirdly good.
It's really good.
It is really good. 3D was pretty good too, man.
I don't think I saw 3D.
It's more of a how can they outdo themselves and then what the fuck? It's always good.
Dude, when they did
And it's good in 3D.
when they did Ryan Dunn serving people behind that jet, the jet, it was like fired up and running. And on one side was like a fake table, and I think one of the guys pretended
the jet
to be,
engine, yeah,
and,
yeah,
then,
yeah.
and then he walked and he just blew. Oh my! It's so stupid, but I fucking love it.
It is, yeah.
Other top comedies, The Blues Brothers is one that I fucking love.
Yeah.
I really love.
That's a
Blues
good
Brothers.
one too.
Napoleon Dynamite was great for its time, but I couldn't really.
That got
really
old
watch
after
it.
like the second viewing.
I agree.
I was never
Step
into
Brothers is good.
Old school.
Ooh. Anchorman. I feel like needs to replace something in my top 5.
They wouldn't hit mine.
Oh man, yes
Yeah,
it would.
I don't think any Will Ferrell thing will even get close to mine.
Thank you.
Really?
I'm really not a fan of Will Ferrell.
I do. I'll say if, like, Elf is funny, but yeah. Will Ferrell I'll get enough of really quickly.
Yeah, but Anchorman I feel like is the exception for him.
I actually just watched it last week when I was in the hotel. I turned it off.
What?
As soon as he pulled out the flute, I was like,
I can't
I'm
be
done.
on this podcast anymore.
I like Home Alone a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess it's a comedy.
That's too much of a Christmas only thing, for me at least. Good score though. All right. Do you know off the Jackass thing? Did you know that they're remastering CKY?
You sent that to me. I didn't. There was no link or
s-
anything, so I didn't.
Whoa, that was random. Just like
was
started
weird.
sliding over. I saw on Chris Rab's Instagram, Haggard remastered, and then I click on the dude, whoever he tagged in the post, and it looks like he's going back and remastering all the CKY stuff, all the movies and Haggard and all those extra things as well, remastering them for HD.
That's awesome.
So I
You
need,
know,
I need
I-
to find out how to get those.
I don't know if I. So do you know what the CKYs are?
I don't know. This is
So it's
all-
like before Jackass. It's the same exact guys, except they were not as rich and they were young and dumber.
And it was
Is this
even
before
worse.
Knoxville joined, or is,
Yes.
Okay, because Knoxville seems like he is the one that was like, "Hey, we could actually do something."
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, Bam and his buddies were or already doing ridiculous stuff, but they have 4, right? Yeah, there's 4 movies,
Yep.
And they're just as ridiculous, but it's almost a little more. It's a lot less like let's break this Lambo in half and just let's do ridiculous
Is this
stuff.
literally the people who were the not your team in Tony Hawk Underground series, where Bam is kind of leading a diff group of other people against you and competing to do weird shit?
I never played the Tony Hawk Underground.
That's funny.
You should. I think you'd enjoy it a lot.
I did play it a little bit, but yeah. So they're like his buddy Brandon DiCamillo and Rab himself and
They'll just fart
Ryan
on each
Dunn.
other and like throw poop at each other and
Yeah, it was just ridiculous stuff.
making great reasons for people to go watch those right now.
It was that. It was so the reason was Bam's brother is a drummer in a band called CKY.
Okay.
So they did Bam's skateboarding things plus his brother's band stuff, meshed it into one, and then just did stupid shit as well.
Yeah, kind
So-
of like viral videos before there was viral videos to like promote the band, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But it is really, really good. I was going somewhere with this though.
They're mastering them.
Oh, I actually have the DVDs. I have the DVD to 2 and 3,
3 has Easter eggs.
and
on
there's
it.
Easter eggs in the DVD that aren't on the digital copies online.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll include those in the remaster. I hope so.
That'd be awesome because there's some freestyle stuff from Brandon.
Maybe they'll do like a remaster of like all the bonus shit.
All right.
DLC, if you will.
Let's wrap this shit up because
Yeah,
we're
I'm done.
getting lost. Beer, 2 out of 3.
Oh, we have to do a giveaway. It's up there.
We'll just find someone on the street to give it to.
We can do it next week if you want.
Do you
The
know?
mo- the-
Do you
the-
want to know anything about the order of my Star Wars films?
Oh yeah. We got to end with that.
Well, let's do the giveaway real quick.
No,
So
let's do the whatchamacallits first.
Shit, can I? This looks cool.
you can't have it. We got the young Lando from Solo.
Yes.
Looks fucking awesome.
Show it up.
Show it
Yeah,
around.
I was browsing for some Black Series stuff, and I actually saw that, and I know that one's a little rare because it's a badass figure. I know when I nabbed mine up as soon as I could when I saw it when the movie first came out. So it's a pretty dope figure. So we do a giveaway. If you aren't familiar, all of our Patreon mafas on the particular giveaway tier, They are entered into a random drawing every month, and we give them something and some other little things, stickers and pins and a high five. You know,
I don't know if anyone
general
agrees
goodness.
with this, but I feel like the art on this box is where they were like, yeah, Donald Glover could be Lando Calrissian.
No, couldn't be Lando Calrissian. He is Lando Calrissian.
He is.
But that art is so good.
It's
is that
amazing.
actually him?
It's a fucking great figure too.
Yeah.
I love it.
His blaster looks pretty cool too.
Should I announce it? Should we just give it to him, Dumbass over here? What's his name again? I can't remember.
I made many a Dramboree.
Dramboree?
Jamboree.
Jamboree. Sorry. Okay, I got you. You ready?
Yeah.
This month's giver. This month's giveaway winner is Dill Richards, winner of the Black Series number 65 Lando Calrissian Young version from Solo: A Star Wars Story. Congratulations.
You might just end up winning the box. We're gonna take the fucking figure out.
To claim your prize, drive to Columbus, Ohio, and pick the shit up.
I wouldn't recommend driving here now.
Yeah,
it's
not
a bit
right now.
icy.
But yeah, so congratulations. We'll send that to you along with some other things.
We will. We'll do that. How can they get it? How can they do the giveaway stuff now?
I mail it to them.
How can they win though?
I know. Patreon, buy us a 6-pack is the name of the tier, and anything above that are all entered into the drawing by random every month.
Every month.
Usually the first of the month, but things happen, so sometimes the last of the month.
What does 3/4 of a 4-pack get you?
3/4 of a 4-pack.
As I generously brought today.
Oh, that gets you on the show.
Oh, okay, well that's not bad. That might. So if
That's
you
pretty
do want to
good.
drive to Columbus,
Yeah, you come show up with some beer. You can, if you know how to talk, you can come on the show.
You don't even really have to know how to talk.
That's actually not an open invitation. Please don't take that seriously. I don't want a bunch of random Star Wars fans trying to. I actually have very superior thoughts about The Last Jedi. I want to come on the podcast.
I want to come on.
No, I don't need that. Rankings, and then we can close it down
Fuck.
before I fall asleep.
All right.
If you already know them and you're abounding to list, go ahead.
I know my I guess the top half pretty solid. I think 5-7 easy my 1-2. Or wait, no.
Oh.
5-8. Sorry. 5-8 easy my top 2.
Oh. All right.
Then probably 4-6. This is probably going to be the most contentious choice, except maybe Last Jedi. I would say 2, and then 7. Then probably all of the Star Wars stories, and then 1-3.
Interesting. Okay.
You have 3 last? I'm pissed.
That's interesting. Okay.
Oh, I it's just the most watchable to me.
I mostly 2 is the one where Dooku and Yoda fight, right?
Yep.
I just really like that fight, and I like when you see all the clones flying around their ships.
Oh, yeah. It's dope.
Yeah. Fuck.
Choices informed by having built those Legos.
Yeah, a lot of my ranking is hinging upon what Lego sets I had.
And the clone carrier was a dope Lego.
Oh, yeah. I never had that one, but I always wanted it. I just have such a vivid memory of leaving the theater after seeing Phantom Menace and going right to Walmart to get Legos.
I also had the Naboo fighter, also
Yep.
a good Lego.
Naboo Starfighter, Anakin's Pod
Oh, they're
Racer,
like-
the Maul versus Qui-Gon with his little speeder bike, dirt bike thing.
Oh, nice.
Good shit.
I don't think I've ever had a Star Wars Lego.
You're a sad,
Treat
that's a
yourself.
sad kid. You're a sad
Expensive as shit, man. I
Not
had
that
Transformers.
They are really expensive. I tend to buy my Legos on a discount shelf, and often they're not actually
kid. Just
Legos.
have a kid, give you an excuse to get you some Legos. Those are not that expensive.
Kids?
Yeah. Are you
I
ready?
could just roll the dice on Tatooine and win one.
That's true. Get the right kind of dice. You're good to go.
Are you going?
I don't know if you were going.
Fuck. All right. I'm just gonna roll this. I'm gonna do 7. 3 rogue. 7-3 rogue 5. 7-3 rogue 5 8.
You trying to steal that?
No, I was trying to see if anyone had any thoughts on mine because I thought I could make some people angry.
7-3 rogue
They usually don't care about the rankings.
5.
You just list them off.
8. Solo 4 1 6 2. I think I got them all.
Interesting.
6 is quickly slipping a lot. 3 is my most watchable, but I think 7's a better film. 5's up at the top. 8's middle top. Two's my least favorite.
I'm going to, for the first time, include the original trilogy as the despecialized versions, because that's the last versions that I've watched of all three of those, which will change my ranking a little bit. Usually I have 6 pretty low. So I'm going to say 7, 5, 8, Solo, Rogue, 1, 6, 3, 4, 2.
4 is that low for you?
Yeah.
Well,
And 6
beginning
jumped
is
up
pretty
literally
boring.
only because the despecialized version is so drastically better than the original than the special version.
For 6, you're saying?
Yeah, like the despecial is better for all of them, but for 6 it's such a crazy difference.
yeah, the version I'm used to seeing, and also what I saw last time I saw them, is when they released them as a 3-pack on VHS. Last time I watched those movies was in my parents' basement on about a 10-inch TV on a VHS player we have down there, and I really like those versions. Yeah.
Yeah. Look up the despecialized cuts online. You can get them. They're as close to as we'll get to an HD version of the originals.
Yeah, I think I totally legally procured some of those at some point when I was in college.
Definitely. I recommend the next time you feel like watching an OT, check that the
What did you
despecialized
say?
an OT original trilogy. It's an acronym.
I thought you said no 2. I was like, is this a new droid that you're banging or something?
Yeah, it's a new droid.
No droid.
Guys,
Opinions, man. My shit changes every week, so it doesn't fucking matter.
yup.
6 is slipping. I do agree. Keegs says 6 gets weaker weekly. I think it's crazy because it is the pinnacle of it. I think 9 is gonna end up stronger than 6 was when it came out.
Me and Isaac Nelson here. Pretty close. I like your list.
5'8", but he has 3 near the top.
Yeah, that's
I'm
funny. They're all
kidding.
bad.
I'm kidding.
You fooled.
You fooled,
I'm
brother.
sad how low you have Solo, but I understand.
I know it's crazy because you have to put something at the bottom.
Yeah.
I would probably put Solo at my least favorite of the Star Wars stories. Yeah.
It was only 2, so that's not that bad.
I just like to. I like Rogue One a lot.
I do too.
I like the way they're like. And some people may not. I like how some people kind of have force powers in it and kind of don't. I kind of like that bit being in there. I don't know.
That is a very
I
we
love
could
that
we could go
aspect.
off on that, but that is really cool that not everybody with force powers that's old is a Jedi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. That could blow shit open, like
Faith can blow things open.
the broom kid in 8. Like
Yeah.
not everybody has to be
Yep.
super powerful.
I
So,
love it.
all right, guys. Congratulations to Mr. Dill Pickles. The beer was a 2 out of 3. Seventh Son. What was it called?
Brother John.
Brother John.
It's funky cheesy goodness.
It was really good.
Yes.
2 out of 3.
But I would give the Seventh Son the brewery. The location 3 out of 3.
The
Oh, yeah.
location of it, terrible location.
Oh, well,
the
okay.
actual
the
spot.
inside the building.
The
I would give
inside
it 3
the
out of
building.
3.
Yes. Hey, I like the location. It's right up the street from my house. Don't even
I
go
like
there.
that for my purposes.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah, so thanks for tuning into the show. If you did not watch us live this week, we do stream everything on Sundays at 8, usually almost every week, but we will update people if the time changes. But you can catch us on YouTube or on Facebook Live or on Twitch. You can watch the live stream. You can chat. As you know, we've been yelling at people in here for not liking BVS and for giving us terrible rankings of their Star Wars movies. So if you want us to ridicule you live on camera, you can join in. Smash subscribe.
If you want to see if Disney will put a copyright claim against a podcast about Star Wars, go to the Patreon,
That's
give these
true.
people more money, and see what we can make happen.
Yeah, agreed. We do appreciate everyone that tunes in. If you are just listening, I would highly recommend just checking out YouTube. If you subscribe on YouTube, obviously you'll get a notification. You gotta hit the bell, I think, but you'll get an email saying, "Hey, these fuckers are live."
Yeah, when the stream starts, it will pop up. I do have a favor to ask for everybody. If you listen to our show on a podcast app, but you haven't actually hit the subscribe button, just please do that. It does help a little bit.
yeah. There you go.
Review? Hit the subscribe
Yeah,
button.
fuck the
Very
reviews.
important.
Yeah, I'd rather you send us an email with some heart-to-heart nonsense rather than review us on iTunes.
But
if
you can
aren't-
also review us.
yeah, if you want. It's not that important.
It is
Your opinions and recommendations of the show don't matter